want to buy some death sticks?
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
La 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 la. Welcome back to Kitchen Bitches.
On the last episode of Kitchen Bitches.
Is the Holocaust real? Is the Earth flat?
You guys still believe in the moon?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys think birds still exist?
I've been in a plane. The Earth looked flat to me. I didn't see the curvature of it.
Like, hi, how you doing? I was like, oh my gosh, it's Piglet.
What colors are the good colors? If
The white ones.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of Kitchen Bitches. Is it 3?
I think so.
Yeah,
It's 3.
It's our 4th one, but episode 3.
Yes.
Yes,
senor.
Yes,
right.
yes. Okay, I got it right. My name is Soul. I will be your host for today. I am happy to be back. Who is with me right now?
I am Swoogie on the couch directly to Soul's right, and directly to my right is...
Shaboy, as always.
Oh yeah, and today we got an extra dope, super cool video for you guys. Cause one thing we know we are gonna talk about is the new Star Wars trailers. We're all fucking nerds here, and we literally just watched back to back the Mandalorian trailer and the trailer for Rise of Skywalker. And last time we were on the podcast, we teased us. We teased having a debate about Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, which
we did.
is the best series or the trilogy?
I'm more of a fan of
He's
the
lying. I can
prequels.
see it on his face.
None of them.
But
It's the books. The books
do you
are
guys
the best.
want to draw from the thing first, or do you want to do Star Wars first? I'm kind of ready to talk about those trailers
See,
we just watched.
Yeah, we could do this since it's fresh. I'd say we go right into the trailers.
I wasn't expecting the coworker that brought up the trailers. I wasn't expecting him to be that much of a nerd in the Star Wars universe. I was like,
Oh yeah,
what?
he's
Going to Galaxy's Edge and shit, man.
he's like. Have you ever looked at his tattoos like close up? Like he's
I didn't
got
know he had
literally-
tattoos.
He's literally
Don't
got.
look at him.
He's
literally
nerdy and patriotic tattoos.
I mean, he's
Really?
literally got like look at the iconic scene of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader with sabers crossed from Empire Strikes Back, and he's got a Death Star like on his shoulder.
I have not seen that.
the one that the wolf is from Game of Thrones. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a house symbol. But anyway, by the time we're recording this, like these trailers are fresh. Probably not by the time you're watching anymore.
Definitely
But
No.
just
You've
know.
already watched the movie before this is out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the movie will be coming out tomorrow. So.
Yeah, and the TV show comes out on November on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
You guys gonna get Disney Plus?
Yeah, I probably am.
How about you, Shaboy? You gonna get Disney
I know.
Plus? You gonna throw
What
those
is
some
there
more?
to offer? I really haven't.
Okay.
I haven't seen.
So
Anything
you're
about
probably
it.
gonna get an ass load of Disney films, an ass load of Marvel films. What is there an asterisk?
So yes. So what's gonna happen is Disney is pulling all of their IPs off of Hulu.
But it's
Netflix,
combining with Hulu. if
It's
you get both.
taking everything that Disney has ever put on video, with parentheses everything, most things like 99%,
So like off Netflix too.
pretty much. They're pulling it off all platforms and just compiling it into this massive like where you can watch any Disney movie, any Marvel, any TV show, whatever. It's gonna be on this platform. It's gonna be about the same cost as Netflix
So
is.
straight up like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and all that.
Pretty much.
That's gonna be
is
on
what
there?
it sounds like. Yeah.
I
So
feel
like everything Disney Channel, like, are we gonna see the Zack and Cody's and like That's So Raven?
There might
Probably.
be.
That'd be
I
kind
don't
of
see
cool,
why not.
honestly.
they're not doing
you know-
anything else with those. so-
Yeah, I mean they might
Like
as well
the
put
Kim
them on
Possibles and stuff.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? $5 extra a month if you
there.
have.
I think
Hulu?
it's like Netflix.
It's yeah.
It's gonna
but
be
if
its own
you,
platform.
But if you have Hulu and that, it's like 15. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. So
I'd pay
like
that
5
just to
extra
watch
bucks.
Kim
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah, for however extra it's much. It's gonna
Was
be.
Drake and Josh Nickelodeon?
Yeah,
that was
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
Damn it.
But like, they're gonna have like a field day getting like other. Is it just Disney or? Is it
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just. Well, now that they own Fox, they're gonna put every episode of The Simpsons ever
Yeah.
on, which I am
That's like 26
super
seasons,
excited
28
for.
seasons.
Yeah.
I don't care about
Damn.
anything past like season 15, but like to get that first like 10 seasons of The Simpsons
Yes.
is gonna.
But
Where everything was original.
Yep.
I was saying, are they gonna do like what Netflix does and like have like little bidding wars for like all these like different companies? Like, oh, we can like pay you to use this show for like a year or two. Or what?
I don't think so. I think the whole reason that Disney is doing this is
'Cause
just to like
it's all under
to
their
flex.
belt.
Yeah, basically to flex on Netflix and Hulu and be like, we got it all. We got your
Well-
Princesses and the Frogs. We got your.
Well, they do that
Marvels,
with
we got
Hulu.
your-
Like they have like a bunch of anime and a bunch of like original movies and all these other things. So like,
Right.
I assume they're gonna keep that money going just to buff up Hulu for people who are into that.
Does Disney own Hulu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So what's the point? Why don't they just pull it all and put it on Hulu? I
For
guess
another thing
Because
to,
another
thing
extra
to charge
$5.
you. Yeah, exactly. Another $7 a month.
Another $5 and to like put it under like the Disney banner.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they might pull it all off Hulu too, like,
Should
and
just
just keep
combine the
Hulu
words.
like an exclusive platform
Dulu.
for non
Yeah.
Julu.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've been
Our coworker would
Been-
disagree.
been taking. Wow. Yeah.
We don't need to get into that. Let's
No,
talk about
let's-
some Star Wars.
Yeah, let's have fun conversations.
Let's do the Mandalorian first, since we watched that one first.
All right.
So, what are you guys' guess on what this is going to be about?
Is there a background? Does anyone know the background of
I don't-
what the Mandalorians are? Who are they?
I-
Are they
I-
a species?
I'm
a
probably
race,
the
a-
least
so-
biggest Star Wars fan
humans?
here.
So I will drop a little bit of knowledge. So the Mandalorians are kind of this thing. They're humans basically, or what you would consider in Star Wars canon as human beings, quote unquote. They exist in a
the Imperials.
hierarchy of a society where they have a queen.
Wait,
and
they're
then-
part of the Imperials?
No,
Okay.
they're like they're.
I meant
kinda
like the Skyrim Imperials.
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like
Oh,
Naboo's.
look at that.
How Naboo is a human race, but they've got the queen and all that. It's kind of exactly how the Mandalorians are set up, and they're
Huh.
very passionate. That's why a lot of them go. They have that very distinct armor style.
Yeah, like the Boba Fett. And
Exactly, because they're also very proud. Kind of like think of them sort of as Spartans of the Star Wars. They're very proud warrior people.
with a queen instead of a king, though.
Yes. I mean, it's a changing monarchy that goes from king to queen, depending on whoever is.
So
Like a presidency.
Kind of,
I,
yeah.
I know they have that very like, what's it called? Specific robot that they have, right?
That IG
It was in the
unit,
trailer,
the
yeah.
IG unit.
Yeah. What are
I
they
don't
just?
think that's a specific to Mandalore.
Is that just another
Mandalorian?
random bounty hunter?
That's
Like,
just another
robot.
bounty hunter. If you're familiar at all with like they never really show it in, but if you've played any of the old Star Wars games, like for the N64 and the
I played
SNES,
the Lego Star Wars games.
right? Okay, so those don't count. But there was a
They count
he's
tremendously.
he's a famous bounty hunter who's a robot. That was probably my favorite part of the
Really
trailer, by the way,
expanding
is
the lore
watching-
of those Lego games.
Yeah, no kidding. It was that IG-8. I don't know if that's IG-88 specifically, but that was an IG robot that is. They're not necessarily designed to be bounty hunters, but they do excel in
At
that.
killing.
Yeah, at being tools of death.
Okay, because I thought there was a lot of them, and then there's IG-88.
I mean, IG-88 is just like one of kind of like how like pirates like
Yeah,
there's a lot of
C-3PO,
pirates, but
yeah.
Blackbeard was like the pirate.
Ah.
Kind of like that. IG has risen through like same thing with like Bosk or Dengar or like any of the major like bounty hunters of Star Wars lore.
Okay. Okay.
They've just
But then who makes them?
the IG units. I have no idea.
Okay.
They just kind of.
This is our knowledge as nerds.
Yeah, we don't know. I
To the comments.
specifically have never read
If we get
any EU stuff or any. I've only watched TV shows and movies and stuff that I found out through varying games of.
You're too cool to read.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Not that nerd shit, but
I've read one Star Wars book and it was pretty boring. So
my friend lent me like a stack of Star Wars comics and was like, "Here, read these. These are awesome." And they just sat in my room for a month. And he was like, "Oh, did you read those yet?" I was like, "Nope. Here, you can have them back."
kind of like that Pokemon game I gave you.
Basically, yeah. I still have that sitting in my house. Just like I'm not gonna play this. I should just give it back to him.
No, I still have faith in you. You can.
Okay.
You gotta finish it by November, though.
Yeah,
That
all
new
right.
Pokemon game.
I got 2 months to go, just about.
Yep. I knew very little of what was going on in that trailer.
It's
So
very
I guess I'm
ambiguous.
very excited to learn about the Mandalorians and all this other junk I don't know about. It does seem like, as far as like tone goes, like there's definitely a more like sci-fi-ier, gritty edge to Star Wars that I feel like a lot of people are into. Like people who love Boba Fett and those types of dudes really love that side of Star Wars. Whereas I'm more like into like the Jedi's and like the
Right.
that type of shit. But like, I love space battles. I love all that shit. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. As you say, you're more into the Jedi and stuff. I am more into like the gritty. Like I want to see like full global scale conflict, kind of like I want to put the war in
Is it-
Star Wars.
yeah,
Like, that's the kind of
yeah.
stuff that I want to see because that's kind of what I grew up. Like I grew up playing. There's a game called Star Wars Galactic
Empire.
Battlegrounds,
Yeah.
which is and Empire of War, which Galactic Battlegrounds is basically just a skin for skin recopy of Age of Empires, and it was like
Yeah,
I
I
played it
love
from the
those.
time I was like 8 years old, and so like I still pick it up every now and again. And Empire at War, same
Empire
thing. Like
War was really good.
Empire at War is a fantastic game, and so like I'm more in it for the like war in Star Wars, and I don't think that the Mandalorian's gonna bring much of that to this,
On a side note, then,
but
since Soul has just recently built his PC, if you want to get into RTS games, Empire at War would be a great start.
yeah,
'Cause
especially
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars, and,
Yeah.
and that
No,
stuff.
that's-
And,
I still want to play like Knights of the Old Republic though, and that's like
Yeah,
a
and that's-
60-hour game or something.
and that's another one if you want to get into like I guess that's more gritty.
See, how gritty is it going to be though? Because it's under the Disney banner, and I heard
Right.
they were having like a debacle with like decapitations. Or
Yeah,
like,
in the newest, the Fallen
Taking
Order or whatever that game is going to be called, it's coming out soon. Disney didn't, because everyone was like, I want to see people getting their arms chopped off
Yeah.
and stuff. Like in what
Um,
was that one start? Jedi Knight or Jedi Academy, I think is what those
I don't
games
know.
are called, where you could actually like cut people's arms off and like cut their
Yeah, I
legs
know what
off
you're
and
talking about.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like Disney's like, no, we don't do that.
I mean,
here."
not to do like a huge spoiler for Avengers Endgame, but if you've guys seen it, there is a character who gets decapitated in the first
Yeah.
like 15 minutes.
Have you seen Deadpool?
Yeah, but
Well-
that wasn't under their brand yet.
Yeah,
so-
that wasn't quite.
Wasn't?
That wasn't.
I
under
thought
Disney.
Deadpool 2 was. But
No.
It was after Deadpool 2 that did
Oh,
Yeah.
so Deadpool 3 is not gonna happen.
They'd be stupid not to.
Mm.
Disney's so like big, like there's no way that they can keep it all under like the same roof. It's gonna have like its own
The
sub-
same strict rules.
Yeah,
of
and
it.
if anyone, if they did try to redo it and say we're gonna really tone down Deadpool, like it would be like riots in the street. Like, excuse me, I've never
with
seen Deadpool,
Sony
but yeah,
pulling Spider-Man.
I mean, like I just want to have Disney flex on Sony and be like, all right, we own you now too.
Yeah, I
What
love.
are you gonna do about it?
I love some of those headlines for the Sony thing. Not
Triangle,
to go on a huge tangent, but when Spider-Man got bought, or not bought back, but he went back to
This
Sony's
is recent,
side.
apparently, too.
Yeah.
This is like
with
last
this
week.
recording.
Yeah, like a lot of the things were like fanboys threatened to boycott Sony. It's like, oh, but I still want to buy shit on my PlayStation. I still want my PSN. I'm not gonna fully boycott them. But Shaboy, I think you're the only one who hasn't talked about the trailer in depth. Is there anything you wanted to add?
It's just that I don't know that much other than through like the main movies and like the Clone Wars side series. Who was Boba Fett's dad?
Jango Fett.
So they weren't Mandalorians, both of them. I know Boba Fett isn't. Jango Fett wasn't either.
As far as I know, no,
Okay.
but I'm not entirely sure. That could be
Because
wrong.
if they were, or if at least Jango Fett, then definitely Boba Fett has to be technically, if it's related by blood.
I mean, this, you know.
But if he wasn't, then he was a bounty hunter that just stole their armor.
Yeah, I was gonna say this trailer could be, you know,
It's not about them. Like,
anything could
can't be.
happen
No,
with
'cause
that
he's-
armor. But
I think I said this earlier today, but he's gonna get his own movie, so they don't want to.
I thought they said
Jango
they were
is?
they
Or
weren't
Boba
doing
Fett?
that anymore.
Really?
Because I know exactly what you're talking about. Because when Disney first bought Star Wars, they said we're gonna do 6 movies from 2014 to all the way up to 2020 every year, having a new movie come out. They were gonna do the new trilogy and 3 anthology films, and they were gonna be the
Han Solo.
The Han Solo, which was second, the Rogue One, which was first, and they were going to do a Django or Obi-Wan type, or Boba Fett.
Well, now they have
Obi-Wan.
Mandalorian. So.
I'm pretty sure they announced at D23 that
They did an
that-
Obi-Wan show. Obi-Wan is
Yep.
Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan Kenobi in his own TV
I'm
show.
actually
I am
super excited.
for that too.
I did not hear about this either.
There was a
Missing out
bunch
on
of
this.
stuff they announced at D23.
Yeah, they did.
They announced like characters that are gonna be playing in the new Marvel movies, and there's so much to unpack.
We'll have to wait a week, maybe put a week on it, where we can get some more condensed, in-your-face information, and then come back with the Disney episode. But
Yeah.
Well, like, because there was this little, like, kind of side thing I thought that these random creators made, where it was, like, Boba Fett basically getting out of that when he died, quote unquote.
Like in
where
the
he
expanded
didn't really
universe,
die.
or like in like it was.
it was like
Oh,
this
yeah,
little
I know what
teaser
you're
trailer
talking
thing.
about, where he escaped the Sarlacc
And he's
pit.
just walking in the desert, and that was basically all you saw. And
Oh,
I
didn't
thought
see
that's
this.
what you guys were talking about more. It's like a little like
I was just going off of
teaser
like
thing.
headlines of like people telling me that he was gonna get his own movie. It might be a TV show now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think once they saw that kind of
Rogue
after
One.
Solo came out and then The Last Jedi came out, everyone was like, "Oh, these are terrible! Like no one wants to watch these." They kind of pumped the brakes on the anthology films.
big
And we're like,
time, big time.
we'll just do. We're gonna do the last of the trilogy, and then we're gonna kind of hold off on Disney.
I feel
movies
like
for a couple years.
Once Rise of Skywalker comes out, they're gonna get the pedals going again, because they're like, nope, okay, the main thing, because at that point, like if they fuck up Star Wars, it's like, oh well, we got the new trilogy. Some people like it, some people don't. At this point, there's no stopping, because they're not. Do you think they're gonna make another trilogy after that?
Oh, they said they were.
I mean, probably
In a
not for
couple
a while,
years.
though.
I was gonna say I think 2023 is when they said they were gonna start revving that up again, and it was supposed to be done by the guy who directed Game of Thrones, I think. And it was supposed to. I
so
think
it's
they
gonna end terribly.
well, probably, but it's supposed to go back way back to like Old Republic era, which would be
That'd be interesting.
that'd be awesome. The Old Republic era is
Prequel.
probably my favorite of like any of the Star Wars era. Like the Old Republic clones, and then we get into like the old trilogy, and then probably the new trilogy is my least favorite. But
The new trilogy is your least favorite?
yeah,
Over the prequels?
over the prequels.
Oh,
I'll
I
take the
agree with him on
prequels.
that.
I'll take the prequels. Anyway.
Oh, we are
Wait,
gonna argue
before
about
that,
this so
before-
hard in a minute.
And I'm
Okay,
not.
that's
I'm not just saying
okay.
that because I think the movies were objectively not great. Like I'm gonna say that, but just the right.
I wasn't even gonna say anything.
I'm gonna go
Before-
out and say
no,
the
no,
prequels
before
were not great.
before
but
this, if you guys really wanted gritty, were you guys hyped for Star Wars 1313 before it got canceled?
no, I never really cared about
What?
Bounty Hunter.
There's
games.
so many Star Wars games like I gotta catch up on. Like I don't really get excited for like new games unless like it's like a direct sequel to
Well-
one I'm really passionate about.
It was like 1313 was gonna be.
Oh, I saw
about
trailers for it.
Coruscant.
No, I
Yeah.
know all about
Okay,
it.
so you know about it. Never mind.
I just wasn't.
You
I
guys
just
didn't
wasn't
care
like
about it.
pumped.
For the
for it.
listening audience that doesn't know though, Shaboy.
Yeah.
It was about Coruscant, and they changed how it was supposed to be so many times because of Spielberg's direct influence on the company. It was going to be like you were going to be a bounty hunter in the depths and like the poverty-stricken 1313 of Coruscant. That's the level.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the last second, he changed it to be a Boba Fett story. And then once Disney bought the Star Wars name, they shut down I don't remember what the game developers were.
LucasArts, yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, they shut them down.
F.
So
Just the biggest
Yeah.
F in the world, man.
talk about
for
like
LucasArts.
2.5-3 years of working
Mercenaries.
on a game that like
Game F.
it was so cool looking
Wow.
because it was going to become an Uncharted style.
Yeah.
If the Battlefront
Like shooting
games have
games.
told us the Star Wars games have only gotten better since then.
I mean, I was
Like
thinking
picturesque, yes, but not.
But,
about yeah, like picturesque quality. No, I was thinking about not the first Star Wars Battlefront, but the EA Battlefront 1 today,
Yeah.
and I was like, that was actually kind of a fun game, and I would like to go back and play. Like, again, I'll go out and say that it was not good when it first came out, and you really had to pay the $60 to get the season pass for it to like get good, quote unquote. But like once they started adding more content and kind of started listening to the fans a little bit more, it did get better.
Games nowadays, like they're like it's not just the game comes out and then like you can just judge it. Like they're like living media at this point.
Yeah.
Like you gotta like No Man's Sky was like the biggest comeback story in gaming this decade.
Amazing now.
Like,
But like I still wouldn't have paid $60 for it right now.
Yeah.
Because of how, like, I don't know. Like you can't screw over your audience and then expect us to just like spend $60 now after what you did.
Yeah. We'll see. I
don't
think
know.
I was the fool that bought. I think I bought Star Wars Battlefront. I didn't pay for the season pass right away, but like after they started talking about the, like, oh, here's what's coming up for the season pass for Battlefront 1. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll buy it and just see how it plays out. And I ended up cranking out about 300, 400 hours out of that game.
God,
okay,
That's
at that
like-
point, if
that's
you
like 300
you gotta
hours
love-
more than me.
you gotta love a game you spend that much time on.
I've spent over 1,200 hours playing Team Fortress 2, so
I mean,
Yeah,
I assume you
I mean,
love
yeah,
it.
it was about 600.
I did play that game semi-competitively. So
That's like
I mean, I've spent like I want to say like 500 hours on Fallout 3, almost as much on New Vegas. One of my Pokemon games, that was handheld. You know, I played it like while working and stuff, but I still had like same amount of hours.
yeah.
all right. Now
I was gonna say I think we've derailed and
to roll back to
Roll back to Star Wars.
to
Do
the
you wanna-
to the offensive. The prequels were better than the new trilogy.
No, we're talking about Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, we're talking about Rise of Skywalker now.
Yeah,
All right,
'cause-
never mind.
Since you guys just hate this new trilogy.
I mean, I don't hate. Like, I have to go back and
I don't
rewatch
understand
The
what
Last
the
Jedi.
context of the actual trailer meant. Is she an actual Skywalker now? Like, is that what?
Are they
She's evil?
retconning that?
I didn't get that vibe that they were saying that at all.
No.
I don't know what the
is
title
Rise
means.
of Skywalker?
I don't know what the title means, but I assume that Rey is going to join the dark side, which is something I've been pumping for a longest time.
So,
The Emperor is gonna come back no matter what. I think I was telling you about the game theory video I watched where
I was just about to say that Soul, you and I were talking about that at work the other day, and I said, like, hold up, let's save this. There's a lot I want to say, but I'm gonna try and
Do you want me to go into that premise?
hang on to it. That you were talking about. Yeah, you can go into that, and then I'll jump in where I need to.
All right, so, like before I even get into that video, like I've been kind of pushing for Rey to join the dark side this whole trilogy, and a big if I had one problem with The Last Jedi, it was the fact that they introduced that huge plot thread and then kind of just scrapped it. Like they were abandoning a lot of the themes that they were getting into, and when Rise of Skywalker, like when the title came out, I was like, okay, I kind of gave up hope that she was joining the dark side. Even though she was physically remember she had that vision and she physically was going into the darkness, and she saw two figures become one figure, like two dark shadowy figures, and then they merged together. In the game theory video I watched, basically they broke down, well, Palpatine is going to be alive pretty much no matter what. Why else would they be
Hinting at his voice.
And I'm pretty sure I saw his figure on a poster.
Mm-hmm.
So the game theory video broke down that Palpatine's master, Darth Plagueis, could control life. That is what he's told Anakin, at least at the time. And then he was just kind of like, JK, LOL, I'm not going to save your wife. The theory was that, yes, he could control life, and he could reincarnate himself in a weird type of way or clone himself, and that he had specific instructions for his minions and dark, Sidious bases around on multiple planets.
Right. Okay.
One being on, what is the name of the planet that Rey's from?
Jakku.
Yeah. One being on that planet. So the theory that she realizes that she doesn't have two parents. She just has that the one, not parent, but
Right.
her clone ancestor, whatever. However she's related to Palpatine, and that's why she's going to join the dark side.
Interesting.
And Kylo Ren obviously would be like the counterpoint who joins the good side.
Right. So I'm gonna
Ooh.
jump in here.
That's an interesting.
As you were saying that, the thought just popped into my head that perhaps that Rey does not join the dark side, but is possessed by the quote-unquote spirit of Palpatine.
Very
becomes
possible.
an avatar of Palpatine, which it might tie into something that I read some quote-unquote plot leaks about this that say that Kylo Ren ends up sacrificing himself to save Rey, and this could be one of, judging from what we saw in the trailer, Shaboy said like, oh, is she bald now? And like that could be a thing that maybe she, with Palpatine, has possessed her. She's like, I'm gonna shave my head so I too can be old and
I mean,
evil.
if we are introducing the idea that maybe there is another trilogy after this, it is possible that the dark side would just win here.
Right.
Because the way it's been, prequels, dark side wins. Original trilogy, the good wins. Evil, good. It's balanced.
Did the dark side really win in the prequels? I wouldn't
They
say.
murdered everyone, and all the Jedis went into hiding. Of course they won.
I mean, is that really winning, or is that just symptoms?
Controlling,
of...
yeah. Because they had like an order to the
I
Jedis
mean,
before that.
it is the
I'm gonna
story,
say
but
I'm gonna
it's like
agree with Soul. I think
it's just I would say story.
It's a climax
more than.
but like
As
you don't-
much as you can
if
win
the
in a story
prequels,
like
it's-
this.
came out before, like if they
guess
were
so.
actual prequels,
but
like if they were just 1, 2, and 3, and then the new trilogy, or not new, 4, 5, and 6,
If anything,
it
I
would
would
have
argue,
been that they won. Instead
yeah,
of
if
being just a
anything,
climax
you could argue
arc.
that in the original trilogy, they didn't win, considering where the story went, because they're still losing.
Right. Well, I mean, after that point, like, I don't know how much you guys know about the EU, but, like, post-original trilogy, after Death Star 2 is destroyed, like, kind of what happened to the Empire in the infighting that took place of various Grand Moffs, who are, like, kind of the second highest in command below what Sidious and Vader were considered as, kind of fighting for control of the Empire as a whole, and it being split into separate factions, and each of these factions of the same group trying to unite under one banner, but of course everyone thinks that they're right, and like, oh, well, the reason we lost is because Vader was doing da-da-da, and they didn't know what they were doing, but I've got the right idea, and these guys, all this infighting.
Was there supposed to be like maybe a deeper plot to how? Because I've always heard that like how easy it was basically for the rebels to blow up the Death Star the first time. Like,
Right.
was there supposed to be a deeper plot as to why that was kind of allowed in
Well,
a
have you,
sense?
have you
Have you
seen
seen
Rogue
Rogue One?
One? I was gonna say.
I saw like halfway through and fell
I
asleep.
mean,
Alright,
in the
it was so
original,
bad.
in the original
It was
story,
so
no, that was
bad.
just a dumb
Yeah,
kinda
but they
plot
retconned it
convenience.
in
Rogue
Rogue One by saying that what was his name?
The main girl's dad, it was
What's
like
his
Jin,
name?
because her name was like
Jin Urso was Urso. We'll
Plus, I
just
got it
say
spoiled for
Urso.
me. Everyone.
He quote unquote designed a flaw because he was like, oh, this thing is gonna be too powerful. And
Well, he was forced to work there.
was he? I don't thought
Like he was like some kind of like double agent who like got caught or something, and he was like forced to like keep working on it, and then he like physically like made like a weakness in the system.
Yeah.
And the whole point of Rogue One was to get like the information and the plans of that to the good guys.
Yeah.
That
They
makes
went to the
some
planet
sense.
of Scarif. That was the name of the
I
planet.
don't know. It's been a while.
I
since
think it
saw
was
Rogue One.
Scarif.
That's
They had
possibly my least favorite Star Wars.
And I guess Death Star 2
Okay.
was second verse, same as the first.
pretty much, yeah. And that was a lot easier
But,
to
like,
penetrate.
yeah.
Due to
'Cause
the
it was
massive
half-
hole that wasn't even built yet.
But going back to the trailer, we saw a couple of images. There's obviously, if Rey does turn evil, that would be like the very end of the movie. The majority, because we saw them fighting and they're very much on their same sides.
Right.
That might be like the opening to the movie, for all we know.
Yeah.
But
She could have just saw a vision like she did in
Yeah,
the previous,
yeah.
and that was just the vision, and we're just talking about it like they want us to.
But Soul
Yeah.
and I were having a conversation about this, saying
If-
like, if
if
they
there
did
is-
do that,
Yeah.
I say that's just subverting expectation for the point of subverting expectation. Like, haha, you didn't see that coming, studio audience. We've made our main character.
And my argument is that is how is that eluding expectations if they've literally been teasing that for 2 movies
I mean, maybe I've just like not been paying that close of attention. As I said, I need to go back and watch.
I kind of need to rewatch because I didn't really get that
like,
vibe
Jedi
that she
one.
was.
Neither did I.
That was
but-
complete. The dog.
I think you're reading too much
Maybe
into
you're,
it.
yeah, I was gonna say, are you projecting a bit, Soul? Maybe you
Okay.
want to be the evil one. Maybe we have to stop you.
Kylo comments on it. It's a known fact that the dark side like makes you stronger easier. She's obviously getting stronger at a much faster rate.
But I thought
She destroyed the Jedi books in the fire thing. I guess that wasn't
That
her.
was Yoda.
Yeah,
trying
she
to be
saved him.
Cheeky.
there's a new, new way.
But the whole vision of her like in the darkness, and then like she has the same vision that Luke had, and Luke walks away from it, and she
Right.
goes into it.
Well, I think with that is because the idea of Jedi and the Force is new to her and Kylo both, because as in the first one everyone's like, oh, the Jedi and the Force, that was never a real thing until Han Solo comes along and it's like blows it wide open. It's like, no, everything about the Jedi and the Force is real.
That's not how the Force works.
Exactly. And so I think what they're struggling with, like,
They had a whole
someone
order to like.
pointed this out to me in the very
Grow.
first movie, which you're watching Rey and Kylo fight for the first time, and neither of them have used a lightsaber really against another person to fight, and the way that they fight is so barbaric. There's no elegance to it. They're just basically hacking at each other. And what that says, you know, in my opinion, is just that there's this mysteriousness to all, like, it's this new power that they're having to kind of come to terms with their own ability to use it and interpret it in their own way.
They're basically archaeologists digging up.
Kind of. And
in their
if
own
you've
way.
played the Jedi games, Knight Academy and stuff, like, you have access to the abilities of like Force Choke and the lightning and the life drain and all that stuff. It's just whether or not you choose to use them. And it's kind of, there's very religious undertones to it, of giving into that, like, you can be stronger than to use this like force that is all powerful to brutally murder enemies and kill other Jedi. That's why, like, if you see the Jedi have that very humane way of killing people where they just stab them straight through. Jedi aren't allowed to like horizontal slash like Sith are. Sith choose to do that because it's the easiest and most of
They're not allowed to throw their lightsaber and then bring it back.
Exactly.
And, like,
Jedi can't do that. Technically, they're not in the Jedi code. They have to do the most humane death possible, which is the just straight penetration one
and look
spot.
you in the eyes.
I don't know about that, but
Well, you know that's what you're doing. I'm not saying
Right.
that's in the code, but I'm saying like
right. That's why that if and someone explained this to me too, was why when Anakin was having that fight with Obi-Wan, and he's like, don't do it, Anakin, I have the high ground, and Obi-Wan used that quote-unquote secret trick to defeat Anakin, was that horizontal slash
a Sith
that
move.
Jedi aren't supposed
Oh.
to use.
Wow,
And that's
I
why
never
he
looked
cut
at
his
it.
legs off. Instead of
awesome.
using the straight through the chest, cut his legs off.
Yeah, I never looked at it that way. Cause I know
I thought it was just a terrible line in a movie.
I know something that was talked about with like someone complaining about the prequels. It was very choreographed, very like dancey type
Right.
moves. And you know it was awesome, but like there wasn't like it showed like a clip of that and like some in the original trilogy, which was like Anakin like emotional as hell fighting like Vader, the smooth, cooler, like experienced, and you could like there's character, there's emotion, whereas like two guys dancing with swords in
Right.
their hand. But you know, again, the new trilogy kind of brought back, you know, these are characters again. They're
Yeah.
not just dancers.
Well, I think the
Stuntmen.
same, you know, the original trilogy might kind of suffered from that same thing that happening in the new trilogy, where it's like, oh, this, like Luke didn't know that he was a Jedi until, you know, Obi-Wan, and all this series of like events just happened to happen, leading Luke to Obi-Wan and
Finding out it's in
finding
his
out
blood.
that he's force sensitive and all this other stuff. And so that training wasn't there. But like back in the prequels, there was Jedi for days. So this training, like, that's why I'll say, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, the fighting is very choreographed. Well, they had the ability to learn to fight like that in the defense of that fighting style, quote unquote, is they had the, you know, they had the training to learn to do all this fancy flipping around and do with the lightsaber, like syncing.
Yeah.
Because it was just more prevalent. There was more practice. There was.
Yeah, fair enough. But like, I think at a point where it's like Darth Maul, a character who doesn't speak, and Liam Neeson, who's a stoic, doesn't like really show any facial expressions character. Obi-Wan, who's a blank sheet kind of character in that movie, at least.
Didn't Obi-Wan cut off Darth Maul?
Yeah.
Horizontal slash?
Did he? I thought he stabbed him.
I'm
I'm pretty sure he stabbed him.
Oh,
trying to remember.
I think he did. Because you know Darth Maul.
Because he fell down the hole.
Yeah, I remember that part.
But then in the comics, he has robot legs. Because...
That might have been.
No, I know he got cut in half because I remember his half body falling down the chest.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know if like it was like a.
But he was also young and inexperienced.
Exactly. He might have just panicked and did
Plus,
this
he saw
move.
Qui-Gon just get.
Exactly. Like that's that emotion of like you're not supposed to allow that emotion to get the better of you as a Jedi. So he had that moment of weakness where he And in the Clone Wars trilogy, it talks about this.
And it's not like that's a huge difference.
I find it interesting that like a lot of the Jedi, as you see them progress, have their own emotional
moments of weakness.
Like Luke, when he was about to kill Kylo Ren, that was his emotion.
Yeah,
like getting the better of him.
Oh, and when he almost killed Vader at the during the end of the thing when Palpatine was trying to convince him to join the dark side, there was that infamous shot where the light is on his face, but it's like half dark, half good.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of. So I think just Rey is just experiencing what all the other Jedi have. It's like, where do I
exactly? And
a good Jedi.
I think you just want to.
I mean, I definitely am fighting for that, but the way they talk about it, like Kylo, talks to Rey, and she's practically convincing herself to stay with the good side. There's a much more physical feeling that I get of Rey turning evil than the other two.
I have a really strong feeling that Kylo wants to turn good. From what I've seen.
No, I feel like Kylo.
And I don't think I just haven't seen Rey
again. I think
wanting to be evil.
Both characters struggling with.
I don't see. I haven't
this idea of
plus
where do I lie? Where does my moral compass land me on the Kylo, we don't know much about his backstory, came from very well off family, had everything basically given to him as he was growing up, and then just was like, well, I'm gonna be evil. We don't know why he joined the dark side.
He thought Luke was gonna kill him. Was a big deal, and his father practically wasn't there in his life, so he had to fight for his dad.
Anything from the Last Jedi. So.
Well, that was in the Force Awakens, him and his dad having that relationship, which was a big part.
Force Awakens was the 7th.
Yeah. Yes. The first new one. Before we get into the debate of the new trilogy, how about you guys and me? We all rank the movies, top to bottom.
Lord, the problem is I haven't seen all the movies.
Which ones haven't you seen?
I mean, seen the Han Solo.
No, you don't. You gotta put those.
Yeah, we'll leave the anthology films out. We'll just stick with the trilogies.
Because I fell asleep halfway through Rogue One. I was like, this is.
Yeah, I didn't even know where I would put them in my ranking anyway, because I like both of them, but it's hard to compare them. They're such different movies, whereas the trilogies all kind of feel like the same-ish story, just in different heroes' journey styles.
I got pen paper.
Shwiggy, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
You want to go worst to best or best to worst?
So
I'll go worst to best. I'm gonna put at number 8.
Got that.
I'm gonna go with.
You're going worst to best?
Yeah, I'm gonna go worst to best. So number 8 for me, I'm probably gonna have to go. Again, I haven't seen Last Jedi, but I'm gonna have to probably put Last Jedi at the bottom. I'm gonna put.
Wait, what? You haven't seen it?
No, I have.
Okay.
But I only saw it once, and I went back and watched The Force Awakens again, and it wasn't that bad. So I'll put Last Jedi at the bottom. I'll put Phantom Menace at 7. I'll do Force Awakens at 6. I'll do Attack of the Clones at 5, Revenge of the Sith at 4,
And just the original trilogy.
and then I'll do New Hope at 3, Return of the Jedi at 2, and Empire Strikes Back at 1.
As the best to work. As worst to best.
Yeah, so Empire for 1, Jedi, New Hope, Sith, Clones,
Alright.
Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
Alright.
Phantom Menace, Last Jedi.
I really don't remember like the names of each one, so I have to go by their number in the movies.
Oh, that's fine. I'm gonna do Phantom Menace 8. Attack of the Clones 7.
Revenge of the Sith, number 6.
Number 6 is a little bit trickier. Like, I liked Force Awakens, but like, I wasn't like blown away by it. Like, it was very much. Like, I have like weird nostalgia for like Revenge of the Sith too.
Of course, I mean, you were
Um,
even younger than I was in 7th grade when that
no,
came out.
I
You guys
that
were,
was
like,
that was the
in
first one I
elementary
watched.
school. Oh, was it? Okay.
And I played like the video game
Damn,
of that
y'all
one.
young.
I mean, I didn't know what was going on. I fell asleep. I was that young. I didn't even know shit about Star Wars back then. But that's an old ass movie, man.
It came out in what, 2007?
No,
2006?
no, it would have been.
Revenge of the
I
Sith?
want. I mean, you can look it up. I feel I'm getting like a 2004 or 3 kind of
I
vibe.
don't know, man.
Which one was Revenge of the Sith? What number? I'm so
3.
bad with names.
Yeah,
Okay.
3.
So, I'm gonna put Force Awakens at 6.
2005.
2005? Okay. I'm wrong.
We were both in the middle. I said 6, you said 4.
So yeah, I've it's been a while since I've seen all these movies, so this isn't like a proper ranking. I'll put Revenge of the 6 at 5. So Force Awakens, then Revenge of the Sith, then the original, number 4, New Hope. Then I'll
This is
put
messing with my brain of numbers and names
Autism.
and
Empire,
titles.
Last Jedi,
Is Minecraft for autistic people? 'Cause I'm still
number 1, Return of the Jedi.
Oh, he's one of those people.
Which one?
That
Return of the Jedi.
I told you Return of the Jedi is my favorite. I have a movie poster of it
Was it?
downstairs.
Oh, I was going to say, because someone said to me one day, like, if you liked the new Avengers Endgame and the Infinity War were like the Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the
I had
Jedi,
this conversation with
respectively.
you.
Yeah,
And I told you I liked
That's right, we did have this
Endgame
conversation.
more than Infinity
and
War.
I like Infinity War than I liked Endgame.
Because you like these like bleak, depressing endings.
I do.
And I'm more. I just love finales and that type of stuff. I'm like a
I like
sucker
the
for
build
that.
up. The finale was kind of weak. The finale can be good, then perfect. But like, if you're gonna build up this great story and then it's gonna kind of fizzle out, then
But like the reason I love Return of the Jedi as kind of like my number 1 is like I love like the ending with Vader coming to the good side, but like still having an epic battle with Luke.
Right.
This guy.
The opening with like Luke feeling like an actual master, like he's that thing where he like jumped off that like diving board thing and then
Jabba's sand skiff.
saving Han and all that. Han and Leia becoming, you know, not a couple, but whatever they are.
Copyright strike. You're not even getting right.
It had all my favorite shit.
Yeah, it was.
Whereas a lot of Empire, like there's
it's
a lot of
storytelling.
There's a lot of just like
hero's
them
journey.
hanging out with Lando and just I'm just
You sold me out, man.
yeah, I don't.
The reason that part of the reason that I put Empire at my number 1 is because I've always been a big fan of the Hoth scene. That's always been like what, like even when I was
Hoth
a
was
kid.
a really good scene.
That whole series of events on Hoth like is probably stuck with me as like one of my more memorable Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now
For
this
me,
one-
it's been like just the battle between again, Emperor Luke and Vader. Like
Yeah.
when he like electrocuted him, and like I'm in the when they, I think it was when they put on DVD, but they added like a thing to Vader. He says like no, whereas in the original he didn't say anything. That was something I was very upset about. But yeah, and I noticed you didn't comment on my number 2 choice.
What was your number 2?
Last Jedi.
Oh, was
your
it?
worst
Oh,
one.
I mean, that's your list, man. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're fucking wrong. You're objectively wrong because you suck.
Well, I just thought
No,
you
no.
might be wonder why and that kind of stuff. But we'll get into
Nah.
Last Jedi after this. After Shaboy makes his choices.
Now, Shaboy, I don't know. I didn't really care for Star Wars in the same sense.
I mean, you can
Like,
kind of just start with what's your favorite, what's your
Well-
least favorite, and work from there.
Yeah, I did the numbering system. I don't even remember the titles of the movies, so I'm just kind of lost sitting here watching y'all debate.
In fairness,
So-
they're kind of, I don't want to say awful titles, but very
Misleading.
misleading and they all sound the fucking same.
Mhm.
Revenge of the Last Jedi, Sith, Return,
Empire Strikes,
yeah,
Force Awakens.
Returning,
Yeah, I mean-
Rise of Skywalker.
All right. Well, number 7 is my worst.
There's
Yeah.
8 movies, by the way.
I have 8 numbers.
Oh, you said number 7. I thought you were going.
Is my worst. I don't know the names.
You meant the 7th movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
the 7th movie. Okay.
Okay.
Then it goes to number 2.
Attack
Number
of
6.
Clones.
Yep.
Okay.
Then number 1. Number 8. 5, 4, 3.
Okay. I'm gonna have to just look at that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Because basically I didn't watch them in
Okay.
order, in any kind of chronological order or movie release order.
Okay. So
When I was a kid,
you got
I saw
a
number
boner for
3.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, number 3, I saw it first, so I was like, "Oh my god, what is this?"
Revenge
I
of
just
Sith.
loved it, you know. Like,
This is great.
Had
I think that's
I want to
why.
say Revenge of the Sith also had some of, if not the best battles.
Yeah, so I think that's why I kind of like Infinity War more than Endgame. Like, I was more exposed to the bad, like the dark side winning in situations, so I like more dark movies and creepy.
Where did you put Attack of the Clones?
Like Attack of the Clones, I would
think I
say
did
was a
it,
good
like,
movie, but it was
5.
just kind of like
all I remember Attack of the Clones
too much
is
exposition.
exposition, boring space shit, and way too much of Anakin and his wife being like, "Oh, the sand."
But unfortunately, like
It
I like
gets
the
everywhere.
Clone Wars Legos way more than like
Yeah,
any Rebel
the Clone
stuff.
Wars series, the TV
Like the-
series,
yeah,
the
the
Clone
TV
Wars,
series.
not
Oh my
just
God,
like the
that
first.
would be number 1.
Both of them were fantastic.
Yes, the movie that
Yeah.
came out before the series. I thought it was gonna be
I mean,
so
even the
stupid. and I
2D
watched it.
animated one, the 2D animated
Yes.
one that came out in like 2003 to kind of bridge the gap between.
I think some of the most potential good characters are in the prequels though. Like
I think I put Attack of the Clones
except
at
Jar
5
Jar.
for me.
Attack of
The
first
Jedi-
off,
Last Jedi.
which one had Yoda versus
That was Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith? Okay, so that does have the best battles. I didn't see. I just said Yoda. You didn't. You already knew.
Oh,
who
I
it
already
was.
knew where you were going with that.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that one has the best battles, and it has Obi-Wan and Anakin versus what's the guy's name?
Count Dooku
Count Dooku. Yep.
and Grievous.
It just had everything.
And Grievous.
man.
Yeah.
And then
Grievous-
execute order 66.
When I was a kid, Grievous was like the coolest fucking character.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was like,
I was like, who is this?
he's
robot?
got like 8-10
Who's
lightsabers.
a droid?
He's a
commander?
robot.
I had a real boner for the Confederacy when I was like a little kid, but now I've gotten to be more of a Republic kind of guy. Like when I was younger, I was a big fan of the prequels just because of the robots and the clones. Like I never really cared for I liked the original trilogy, like ships and the stormtroopers and the rebels, but like it's never really explored a lot. I think that's why I like the prequels a little bit better.
They
Because
knew that they were.
conflict is explored more with the soldiers and the ships and the vehicles to do so.
But they knew like what they were making was going to expand to toys and comics, and they knew.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Whereas like the original innocent trilogy didn't really know.
Yeah,
that.
and George Lucas has been on record stating like every new Star Wars movie he would make, he would always try to add some kind of new technology. That's why you saw like the new Jedi ships in like Revenge of the Sith that you didn't see in like the second one, but the second one still had those kind of Jedi ships that were like Dorito looking and
The V-Wings and stuff like that.
yeah.
Shaboy, like I noticed you put why am I forgetting number 7? What is the name of 7?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens at the bottom. Was there a reason that one offended you so bad?
It's not that.
Not
well,
offended.
Because I'm more of a guy that likes in the sense more of a basic story, but like a lot of stuff's going on, but it's still basic in the sense that like you don't really have to like know each individual character, their backstory and everything. That's why like number 3 is at the top of my list. You really don't know what's going on with them individually if you just watch 3. But if you just watch 7, you know exactly what's going on. That's why like Halo is my favorite game, where all this lore is available to you and all their backstories. But if you just want to play the game and fight some goddamn aliens and some big battles, we got you covered. You don't need to do much more than that.
I say,
And I just
part of the reason for that is because like that turns a lot of people off. Like that's why I was about to bring up to Soul like in a couple whenever we work together again, like this idea of numbering our episodes, because people like jump in and be like, oh, I have to go back and listen to number 0 instead of just like going straight in and like picking
I'm not
up.
against that
I mean,
idea.
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, but I think that's because a lot of smooth brains out there are like, oh, I'm jumping into I have no idea what's going on. I'm just gonna drop with like a hot potato because I can't figure anything out. Like, it's the same thing with like Lord of the Rings. Like you can go and read all the Tolkien novels and
but like in 7, I honestly feel like they're kind of spoon feeding each character to you. Like it's just I don't know. I didn't really like the characters in general, so it was like,
I mean, I put
he doesn't like ethnics.
I put Force
just
Awakens towards the bottom of my list. I think it was towards the bottom of yours too. So
Which one was that?
Force Awakens.
their
Yeah,
jokes
7.
fell flat.
6.
Like even like
I think there was like 5 or
the
something on mine.
opening scene with like now this is where the fun begins, where Anakin says that like in that like big droid Sith. That's like funnier than any of the jokes they try to do. In
Yeah,
7.
the jokes of like 7 and
Attack of the Clones had one of the best jokes where he was like at a bar and he was like, I will go home and rethink my life. And the guy was like, I will go home and rethink my life.
Jedi mind trick on him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even still, number 2 is just right above number 7.
Well, I
so
have
it's like, too much exposition, too much like spoon feeding what's going on to you.
If you want to watch like just a quote unquote Star Wars movie, this guy has done these brilliant edits on YouTube, and I can't remember the name. I should probably know that before I start speaking about them. But he's taken the original prequels and edited like all the jokes and just like, in his opinion, the fluff out and condensed them down to maybe like an hour and 15-minute movie.
For some of those, like, I feel like Phantom Menace would be like 30 minutes long.
It was, and I went back and I watched.
Because there's a big part of that movie where they're just like, okay, like, I guess they get R2-D2 and C-3PO. But, like, the whole point of them being on that planet was to get, like, a fucking battery. And obviously they picked up Anakin along the way, but, like, the whole race and stuff, that was all fluff.
So when they built the Starkiller base, what was the solar system that they blew up basically? What solar system like?
I don't know.
Was that was a rebel solar system, right? Or was that just a random group of planets that they decided?
I haven't seen that film 2+ years at this point. No, it would have been like 3 or 4 years.
What was the question now? I was trying to figure this.
The solar system that they killed in Force Awakens.
With the Starkiller
It was just a Republic system.
Yeah.
So originally, that
It had to have been because their numbers
Right.
are so low.
there was a side plot that got cut from the movie where that scene where they're showing that party on this like city Coruscant looking planet. There's supposed to be a scene there where Leia has a confidant speaking to that party and those people about. There you go. Speaking about, trying to get them to join the Republic, the Resistance, and then that's when, like, I'm just making all these gestures and words and not condensing my thought. I'm going to start over. So there's a scene that was taken out there where Leia has a confidant go to these planets and speak to them about joining the Resistance to fight the First Order, to kind of enlist them in assisting them, and the First Order finds out about this.
And they're just
it's
like, no.
It's like,
Nope.
we're gonna show you what it's like to join the Resistance, and then that's when they just like blow up all those planets.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
That's why it was there, but all that got
Because-
cut.
So it was just a random system.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And
Because like playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, the new EA one, they just had like stupid reasons for why they were like attacking. I don't remember what planet it was. they were doing Operation Cinder. I'm sure the people that have played this game understand. Like,
Oh, I do, but I don't.
you're an
I don't even
Imperial.
remember.
You're attacking an Imperial planet, and you're like, and their reasoning for it is like, we must show what it means to be like to bow to the Imperials. It's like, but they're already on our side.
So what that
I don't-
was like
and
a
that's
show
why I
of
kinda
force. Like I think there had been some like talk of possibly rebellion, quote unquote, and they were like, "Oh, we'll show you to threaten to turn from the Empire," and then that's why, you know, spoiler alert, our main character decides like, "I can't be a part of this anymore." It's what did I tell you that one time, Shaboy? Was like, it's not about killing people. It's about making a point. It's about sending a point.
It's not about.
They were really
it's
just
about the message.
instead of enforcing their like will upon them and just expecting them to like fall in line.
Exactly,
like,
but
they
like,
just kill
I
them.
feel like the Empire is just like they make them seem so dumb, and they're like.
I mean, it is a very like barbaric thing to do, but like when you have that much power,
They make their reasoning so dumb when they could be so much smarter in their own group of like hierarchies.
well, I mean, how would you approach a situation like that, where like you're the quote unquote militant governor of this planet?
I wouldn't get it that bad.
Right,
Wouldn't
I mean,
have been that bad to begin
well,
with.
no one wants to have their planet invaded and be like, oh, now you're a subject.
They
of
were
our...
already subject in that game. That's why they like.
Well,
that's
maybe
why I
they're-
found it was so stupid.
Maybe your little rebellion or your group is deciding like, oh, we don't want to be a part of this anymore.
That was the whole reason your character in that game turns good, was because it was like, why are we doing this to our own people that already follow us?
Because
They're like, you don't understand.
we need to make
It's
a
like,
we
yes,
need to
I
say
do
a message.
understand. You're just dumb.
It's about sending a message, boy.
A message that was already sent like when they first joined, basically. I don't know. Anyways,
Don't stand.
Anyways,
against us.
I'm the host. I'm taking control of the
Do
conversation.
not take the. I've taken the reins. I'm in
I've-
charge now. Bang, bang.
I'm the captain now.
This is the Shuggy show. This will be show only.
Okay. Before we draw out of this bucket, I wanted to
Christ almighty.
lay down the law for The Last Jedi. I know Shaboy and I, a long time ago, we had a third party there
What
at
was that?
Buffalo Wild Wings. Number 8.
Number 8. Okay, thank you, please.
The latest one.
The latest. It's like,
Okay.
And I don't think we ever really came to like a conclusion about that. In just a round table, what did we think about the movie? And then we can slit each other's throats.
it opened up some good plot points. Definitely like had good nuances to certain things that I didn't pick up on.
Don't be scared to rip at a new asshole, by the way.
It just fell flat for me, you know? Because I was used to number 3, like that episode of Star Wars where I was just like bombastic and war, the actual war in the stars. And, you know, all from like, 7 and 8, they're just internal conflicts and like maybe a group of people that are fighting each other. And it's just like, it's not what I'm used to. It's not the big battles that I wanted.
Fair enough. I think everyone kind of has their own like different version of
Right.
Star Wars that they're like really nostalgic for.
I mean, that's the good thing about like having a giant universe like this is everyone can have their own little piece that they are fans of. But for me, it kind of, as Shaboy said, that it just kind of fell flat. Like I walked out of the theater, I saw it with my father. My dad's like, "Oh, I really liked it," and I was like, no, just no, Dad."
Well, what was the biggest battle in that movie?
It was on the red planet, whatever that was, the dust planet, where they tried to the resistance had held up in that giant bunker.
And then there was a more personal battle of Rey and Kylo versus the Knights of
Snoke and the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a more personal battle, and then there was like more spacey stuff with
Oh yeah,
Finn
the
and
chase, the
His
chase.
his girlfriend dying.
Yeah, for
chase
me
scene
the
where
whole
everyone just gets blown up.
the whole thing was just kind of like from start to finish was like just like what am I even watching here? Because it starts off with that really awkward intro of like Luke Skywalker like looking at his lightsaber and just tossing it. He's like just a disheveled like pissed off old man. Like what have they done to this character that everyone like grew up with and was like, oh man.
You already know my points about this. I think.
I'll
I don't know.
Wait.
I don't think I remember.
Okay.
But like that whole
The
like,
audience
I-
doesn't know, so you'll have to.
exactly.
Oh,
I mean, you have to fill them in, and then like we get to the whole thing with like Ray and whatever the girl, whatever her name is, the Asian woman.
Finn's girlfriend. Just call her Finn's
Whatever
girlfriend.
she is, the chubby Asian girl. Where they're like, we have to find this guy who may or may not have the key code to get us into because our ships are trying to escape this larger Imperial vessel, and then, oh man, this guy turns out to be a fraud and a double agent, and all of that, like the casino planet, like I walked out there, I was like, you could have completely cut that out of the movie and it would have made no fucking difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
And like the whole, just all that was like too much for me, and the whole like, when she stopped Finn from committing this heroic act of destroying this giant laser battery, to be like, we have to stay together, the resistance is built on love, and then just like, okay, like why though? Like this man was about to save everyone by sacrificing himself, and you're just like, nah. And the whole like Luke being a fan, like channeling his Force spirit into
We just
the
need to have
thing.
a big warning at the very beginning of this video.
Yeah.
Big spoiler.
Well, if you haven't seen it yet, then this is
It's
your
your
own.
own
You've
fault,
done this
yeah.
to yourself.
If you couldn't tell that we were gonna go into spoilers a while ago.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell from the first
Plus
3
it's-
episodes.
I feel
All
like
that-
it's Star Wars. Like there's certain properties, like if you don't see it after the first year, then like
I mean, it was the same thing with
Yeah.
Avengers at our workplace. Like, if you guys remember when the spoiler for Avengers like came out, and then one of our coworkers was running around like the 16-year-old he really is, yelling.
yeah, because I
Do
saw
you
the
remember
midnight.
that Iron Man died? Iron Man dies. Iron Man died. Like running around
And he said-
screaming.
I gave him fault because I'm the one who fucking told him. Because he said, "Oh, I'm just gonna tell like one person who doesn't give a shit," and I told him like a half truth. I was like, "This character dies, and the character who doesn't die also dies," and he went around.
Telling everyone.
Yeah, these two
You know,
characters.
Iron Man dies, and I'd already had
and
it
Captain
spoiled
America,
for me.
who doesn't die, but you know.
Right, and then like I had already had it spoiled for me at that point, so it didn't matter. But
Yeah.
I was just like, why? And then I had a female coworker of ours. Why is he running around telling people he spoiled it for us?
People were pissed off.
Shout out to that coworker,
Yeah.
Nucci, who will be on the show eventually.
But were those your final thoughts?
I think that's all I can really remember. And like the Porgs, like who gives a fuck? It's a stupid thing to sell toys, and
Porgs.
yeah.
They were in Force Awakens a lot more.
Were they? I don't
Yeah.
remember them being in the Force Awakens. I thought it was just some shit they brought in. For
The
Last
little
Jedi. Birds that Chewbacca was like, I'm gonna eat this now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I walked out of it and I was just like, this was none of what the fuck did I
Maybe
do?
you're right, glad
And
you
then the
remember
whole
that.
like spit in the face of like, let's just turn around and ram my ship into this giant, Imperial ship, and that's gonna completely rip it in half. And then everyone's like, well, why didn't they just do that with the Death Star? Like, why isn't the Resistance building dummy ships to just like hurl into?
I didn't even think about that.
To hurl into first order bases if it's gonna have this big of an effect. Like and then just yeah. I'm not gonna get into like the whole politics and how I feel about the politics of it all. This is not the space for it, and no one cares except me and maybe him.
I care a little.
But that's basically it for me on my
Okay.
thoughts on.
I do think it's a movie where what I like about the movie is just so much farther on the scale than like what I dislike about the movie. So usually the first things I hear when people talk about what they dislike, it's the casino planet. In fairness, I remember I watched a review for it, and then someone was like complaining about that and was like they were like, this is a piss break scene. And I remember really having to take a piss when I watched that movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we're at this part. And I took a long ass piss. So I don't remember that part because I didn't see it.
But how long
when they
would
were
you
like
say that
saved,
was?
I don't know, but when they were like saving the animals and doing that shit, I don't remember.
A nice
that.
20-minute piss break at that point.
The arc with the double agent dude is probably whatever his fucking name was probably my least favorite part about the movie.
Doesn't matter.
He's like he's like a hacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fuck that.
Hold
dude.
on, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that was another two other little points that I just need to make about other things, like the whole introduction of Snoke, and then just like axing Snoke, like, as soon as you introduce him, like, okay, you're gonna build up this big ominous character in the first scene as being the new Palpatine, and then you're just gonna fucking kill him like that fast. That was retarded. Also, the whole, like, Captain Phas, like, we're gonna hype up this female, strong, independent woman as being, like, an Imperial commander, and then we're just gonna kill her, like, without her even almost attempting to fight back.
Wait, did she die? I didn't.
Yeah, she does.
I forgot
Well,
about that.
she got like kicked into like a thing.
Yeah, well, she fell, like, Finn bust her over the head with that same, like, lightsaber blocky thing that everyone liked in the first one. And it, like,
But she also pretty much died in the first movie, so I think it's gonna be like a character who almost...
I know they just put her in the trash compactor, like, that wasn't a huge
Yeah, but like
thing.
I remember
Anyway.
thinking, oh, she's probably gonna come back again because it was one of those vague kills.
Right.
Um,
Anyway, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Please.
I remember last I was saying that was probably my least favorite part of the movie was the hacker thing, and I will get into the whole Luke being a weird homeless milk drinker dude. But as far as the Captain Phasma is her name, like,
Yeah.
she was never, like, she was, has, like, visual posters and things that make her look cool. But, like, in the movies themselves, all she did was, like, have a cool scene where she, like, walked out with, like, a bunch of people. They never hyped her up. If anything, she's kind of like a fucking tool to make Finn look good. Because Finn needs something to look fucking cool.
I guess that's true. But, like,
Yeah.
what kind of storytelling
Just-
is that? If you're going to make a villain, like, at least have that villain...
But she's not, like, an important villain. She's a mercenary. She doesn't take her mask off. Like,
I wouldn't say she's a mercenary. I'd say she's a soldier who has progressed significantly within the First Order itself to achieve that captain level.
I read like a book that was kind of like doing backstories on all the characters. And Finn, when he was a clone trooper, he worked directly under her. So like him rising up to beat her is kind of like a big deal. But like for the movies themselves, I'm not like upset that they're doing her dirty like that. I would like to see her do more stuff, but like I'm not upset that she gets jobbed out every time. As far as the Snoke thing goes, again, where I think the franchise is going, it kind of depends on what Rise of Skywalker does. If it like destroys all these plot threads that I'm like hoping on, then yeah, it'll be fucking kind of stupid what they did with Snoke. But as far as Snoke goes, he was kind of a placeholder character, because if they bring the Emperor back and he's like, the story was always Skywalkers and Emperors. That's all it ever was. All trilogies, that's the story. Then that'll kind of make sense. They needed someone for Kylo to answer to. They needed like a head Sith guy. And again, when I saw Last Jedi, I fucking popped when he died because it was a big moment and it did make Kylo fucking look dope as shit.
Well, that goes to that whole, like, subverting expectation by just, like...
But if that was the story all along, who cares?
Yes. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think of... I guess you're right that the whole, like, looking for it... Because in the Sith lore...
To be fair, that scene was probably my favorite out of that whole
Right. Well, mine was the
movie.
Yoda scene, but... The whole Sith lore is there's got to always be master and apprentice, and I guess if you're saying that Rey is becoming the evil one in the next one, and she's the one or was it Kylo Ren who killed Snoke? Might have been Kylo, was it?
I might be misremembering it, but what did he do? Like he
turned the lightsaber and it went right through his.
But he was talking shit to Kylo. I remember
I think he was talking I think he was trying to get Rey to join the dark side.
Yes.
And then Rey would have to kill Kylo in order to join. I think that was the big what was going to happen.
This is why I wanted to like refresh my mind before we did this.
But putting it that way makes sense. As I was saying in Sith lore for the third time, that there's supposed to be a master and apprentice. There can only be two Sith at one time, and when that apprentice rises in enough power to kill the master, then that apprentice then takes the master spot and then acquire the new apprentice. So we could see, Kylo take on a new apprentice, or Rey be the whatever. I don't know, but
whoever did it, I think either way, like my same point is trying to get across. It made that character look good, and it's supposed to be like this the next movie, that character is going to be like, now there's probably going to be a time skip. They are the master now. So, and you saw Kylo kind of like, he was like, fuck these guys. He's like, fuck the Sith. I'm starting a new thing. Rey, do you want to join me? If that's not like a character like
Right.
doing that, then I don't know what it is. Those are some of like your grievances that I am like why it didn't bother me in the film. As far as Luke being an old hermit man, that I've talked about this with Shaboy here. My favorite shit in Star Wars is the Jedi shit, and the Jedi are not about kind of like what we saw in the prequels where they're living kind of like in these royal throne type places. The Jedi are all about less is more, living pretty much in the style of a monk with like little to no like substance and material. That's all Sith. That's all negative.
All right. I get this.
So when we see Yoda, Obi-Wan, they're hermits. The Jedi are naturally hermits
All right.
in my eyes.
But are they hermits or are they just in hiding?
Um,
Well,
big.
I guess
it could be
in
both.
those,
Could be
yeah.
both.
I mean, if you're like me and you write off the prequels, then I definitely see them as more monks. Monks who like have stupid amounts of power.
Well, I don't want to, but I could bring like a religious like aspect in the sense that like when Christianity first started, it was very much like not in hiding, but definitely like no churches. Anywhere could be a church, you know.
Mhm.
And now then it grows and becomes like the big Catholic Church, and that was like the Jedi living in royalty. And now actually in the term of 21st century, we're seeing more like just random churches popping up, like anywhere can be a church again, basically.
Yeah.
So, you know, it kind of like,
That's
I don't
cool
know,
way-
there's a good correlation,
That's a
you
cool
know?
way to
Isn't
look at
there
it.
in like
I never looked
Christianity
at it
where
that
they're
way.
like do away with the despoils, like all the worldly possessions? that
yeah,
you're
like,
supposed to-
like
even with like
the Vatican being lined with gold, that's not what Christianity
Buddhism,
is
where
about.
you know they do no material possessions or anything, and so I guess I see where
You
he's.
can, like,
Yeah.
sacrifice, but you're not, like, you
But
don't, like, your materials do
yeah.
not define you like the Vatican.
I think that was a big part of like Yoda burning the books. Like that was some like Luke is holding on to like the past, and like the books were like a way of him doing that when like Yoda was like, fuck it, let the past die. So, and by the way, the scene with Yoda, puppet Yoda coming
Best
back,
scene in the movie.
almost cried. I loved
That was
everything
a
they
great
did with
scene.
that.
I mean, Yoda needed to look a little bit better.
I thought he looked perfect.
He was the puppet. I think they used the original puppet.
Really?
They didn't CGI it. I know they had a puppet. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was the puppet, but
Huh.
that's
Interesting.
probably why he looked like that.
He looked different to me.
Harming my
Because
family.
you're
It's
used
been
to
a-
CGI
No,
Revenge
but it
of the
was
Sith
it's been
Yoda.
so-
Fire, I do not.
Which, okay, but there's no way in Revenge of the Sith they could have puppet Yoda do all those flips and shit.
No way, that was all CGI.
Yeah. So
No,
they should have done.
I
I
mean, I
remember
saw
from-
the original when they were original, not the like the remastered version.
Yeah.
So I thought they looked different from 4, 5, and 6.
But so
not 4.
as far as I don't see a big deal in Luke. If anything, I like that he's a fucking hermit who's just like I don't give a fuck about you. Some of my favorite stories are like student teachers, and often the
Yeah.
teacher is like a reluctant teacher, and then there's like the punk kid, and in the first movie he's drinking blue milk, and now he's drinking green milk. It's the same fucking shit. He just loves milk. Luke's a big milk drinker.
Well, if you go to Galaxy's Edge and buy it, they're very distinct tastes, both of them. I will be going in less than a month, so I will be able to tell you.
Nice. But people are saying like this character got ruined. I'm like personally like I was never like a huge Luke Skywalker character.
Yeah.
I
The outside world.
like I loved Luke Skywalker like in those movies, but like I don't think he had like super big character moments. Whereas this film seemed to be like the Luke movie, where he kind of gets his own arc of being a teacher, and the end, he dies. I thought it was a pretty fucking beautiful death. People are upset about the Phantom Ghost, but like
I like the Phantom Ghost idea.
I love the Phantom Ghost idea.
I didn't think he needed to die after that, but I mean, like the Phantom Ghost was a great, like,
Yeah, and just like
force ability.
the like snow planet, but it wasn't actually snow, so it had like the red streams. Visually, I thought that was like the coolest thing in Star Wars I've seen in a long time. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like,
It had great visuals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The conversation Luke and Kylo had there was great.
The Star Destroyer, whatever it was, that was
Oh,
chasing
that
him,
was
was
just
amazing.
dust. It was like a dust planet.
Yeah. Like they explained it, I just don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then again, the huge one of my favorite parts of the movie where Rey and Kylo team up and fight the Knights of the Ren. I thought that was badass as shit. My only thing I didn't like was that like the whole movie they were building up to the fact, Rey abandons Luke. She assumably is going to the dark side, and then they build it up like I was really upset that like they build up the fact that she has what is it called? Parents, and then they just got rid of that. I was very upset by that because it felt like they're just building bullshit, and then they got rid of it. But if they go somewhere with that in Rise of Skywalker, then that's another complaint gone. And that was really the whole movie. Finn needs to be more useful. The politics on the ship I thought were all boring, but again, it's just the good outweighs the bad for me.
What,
we had the best.
Is Finn supposed to become a Jedi, or is he just still that character?
He's the comedic relief still.
He's comedic relief?
Yes.
Comedic.
I use comedic loosely.
Okay.
He's relief. It's like we have
thank
diversity. Thank goodness.
I think the whole point was that they were teasing the idea that he could be the next like Skywalker, like the next big Jedi in Force Awakens, but the Force Awakens ruled out no, it's Rey.
Oh.
They were.
Yeah, I thought like with all the trailers from the 7th movie that he was gonna be the
He hasn't
Jedi.
picked up a lightsaber, I don't think, since that movie.
That's
which is
everyone
stupid.
was like, oh hell no.
It's gonna be 2
Ain't got no
Jedi.
black Jedi in here. Mace Windu.
I got 2 Jedi.
You better get a purple lightsaber, bitch.
You better get that dank purple drank lightsaber.
Samuel Jackson wanted his. thing
Oh yeah, I
purple?
know. He's like he went to George Lucas and was like, damn nigga, I don't want these blue and greens. I need something special.
Anyway.
Oh my god.
So yeah, those
Cut
are.
that out.
Cut that out.
I did not say that. That
You
was
just
ship
said
away.
that. Sorry. It's staying in. No,
But yeah, that's what I thought of Last Jedi. I know when I walked out of the film, I was gonna give it like a 9 out of 10.
You felt very profoundly
Yes.
strong about this.
Yes, and since I've seen all the complaints, and I know I didn't see like the shittiest part of the movie, apparently, I am kind of like recoiling a little bit. Like I know if I watch it again, if I watch it again, I feel like it'll fall down to an 8. Like, cause the opening bit, that whole battle was cool, but there's no like character stuff with the the woman and the bombs and everything.
Yeah, that was lame.
Oh, that was cool, but not cool. At the
Well,
same
but
time.
like one of the
There was
things
just
that
nothing,
someone
like,
said
it didn't
to
make
me-
sense that they opened up
The thing with Leia
into
was,
a vacuum of space with no even like energy shields.
The thing with Leia, with her like kind of having force
Yeah.
powers for a little, I thought that was cool in the moment, but rewatching, I feel like it won't be
That
cool.
was lame. Yeah, and the whole someone said to me is like, how are they able to drop bombs in space? Like they're not like torpedoes or anything. They're just like bombs. Wouldn't they just like float into nothingness?
I think if we use a lot of that logic, a lot of Star Wars would fall apart, though.
Probably.
Yeah,
Especially
that's true.
lasers.
Yeah.
The fact you can hear the lasers in space.
Yeah, all the sounds you can hear in the big fiery
The
explosion.
Clone Wars,
in
or
space.
the clones having terrible aim, just that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Is that gonna wrap up?
I
Star
think that's
Wars
gonna
for
wrap
us?
up Star Wars. I think we got time for maybe one thing out the.
But
Did we
Out of the
debate?
mystery
We
bin?
did not debate on which
Yeah, I
one.
was gonna say we didn't really talk about the prequels or.
It's fine.
The
It's
original
fine. It's
trilogy.
enough
I
Star
wasn't-
Wars.
I wasn't
Yeah, I
really
agree.
trying to go into the prequels.
We could do all that in another episode, Star Wars Part 2 episode. And then Star Wars Part 3.
Sorry, I'm
Oh,
not-
bring it home with the OT.
I mainly was a Star Wars fan for the Legos, not for the actual.
I've been a Star Wars fan since I was
Because I like
a wee
building
lad.
Legos.
Like a wee boy.
Yeah, I watched the original movies on VHS as a kid, and I like really loved them. I didn't watch them over and over again, but I was really into them. But then watched the originals, or not the originals, the prequels after that. And I was like, kind of what is this?
Yeah.
And then The new ones I've liked.
I definitely have a lot of toys from my youth that are hanging around my room at my parents' house that I've got definitely.
I can tell this one was written by Shipaway. Do you guys want to do this one?
I don't remember it.
I mean, we could if he wants to
Should we take a vote?
go into it. I'm sure all of us are gonna be like, I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know.
I mean, I have goals. I have aspirations.
Oh, I do too.
The
It's
topic
just-
is, my headphones fell out. Where do you see yourself in X years / next big goal?
Do you want to start, Shipaway?
You wrote it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was the one that wrote it. Since we all work at the same place, you know, this is just a stepping stone in my career. While it does give you full-time benefits and all that, I'm still looking for opening up my own place of business, culinary-wise. Either it be a small restaurant, a food truck, just catering service, something like that. So that's my next real big goal. I'm not really focusing on like getting a house or anything. I'm comfortable in apartments, but until I get kids, then that's something else. But the next big goal is to invest into the culinary business.
Okay. And I know you go to school. Is there any plans?
I've recently graduated, associates in science, to no-name school. X.
Plug myself here. No, I didn't.
And I was going to go into a 4-year degree and do business or some sort of culinary program, but just researching and hearing what other people have done and opening up their own places. Our new head chef, he's never went to college.
Mm.
And I mean, he's a head chef,
Yeah.
probably making 6 figures now at this place. Close.
5.
5.
A comfortable 5.
Comfortable
I'd say.
5, like a 60, 70.
Definitely in
Yeah.
that area.
That's still like
If we're talking about a year, we make 5.
We
comfortable 5, like
Comfortable.
not
I
poverty.
mean, a comfortable 5, but like, you know what I mean?
Not-
Like,
not-
I don't think
Not
it's a stretch
20 to 30, 60 to 70.
I mean, you have to think what our last chef, like, what he was doing, like, and he took this place after, like, he was working for, like, military and all these things. Like, it's not a stretch to assume he's making, because he's making salary. I'm not saying he's making 6 figures, but I'm saying it wouldn't be, like, a stretch to say that.
Yeah, he's definitely probably up there at the
But
upper
anyways,
75.
He's a head chef, executive chef, which for this kind of place, for being a hospital, and a very large hospital, you'd think that somebody that would go to school would, be more fitting. But no, work experience and having the capital, the beginning capital,
Knowing the
is
right people.
knowing the right people
That definitely
is more
helps.
important than simply a degree with a name on it.
Yeah, I think knowing the right people is more important than any school. That being
And
said,
experience.
yeah, school and
Work
experience,
experience.
but that being said, schools will introduce you to the right people if they're
Oh, yeah.
a good school.
Especially,
Like, I know a guy who works in cars, and they like will physically like put you almost like in a bidding war with people who, for like these car companies.
interesting. So,
And that's
Was
how
that
it
a
should be.
technical school or was it like a college?
It was like
Assuming
college,
it was a
college.
technical. Was it for automotive?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if it was an automotive program
Speaking
or
of
if it was like a full.
not to
auto
discourage school, but vocational and technical schools, like
I'm pretty
high
sure.
school.
I don't know the full.
When you're
details.
pressured, like when you're like signing up for colleges and stuff, they will pressure you to go to these huge, expensive ass colleges. But realistically, vocational and tech schools, like they will get you really good, like high paying jobs.
Oh yeah, in a very short amount of time.
In a very short amount of time. They just don't pressure you. So when I was in high school, I really didn't think about it, but now I kind of regret
Yeah,
not
same.
going through that.
I was very much pressured into a 4-year degree when I think I would have been much happier working for a 2-year degree and like getting into actual like working with my hands type stuff. They don't really put a lot of pressure, like as you said, Shaboy. There wasn't a lot of pressure to go to technical schools. A lot of this higher education, like enlighten yourself further with this higher education. Like you're
For
above
you.
the technical school. Like you don't need to go there. That's more for the dunces, if you will. And
There's a lot of there's a lot of math and just general like street knowledge, honestly, when it comes to like your car, mechanics,
Oh yeah.
like housing, roofing, HVAC.
Well, as I said that.
That's a lot of actual
Building
knowledge. Like,
credit.
yeah, like, you know, some of the people you might call don't look the greatest, but you know, they're going home in probably a nice new car and
Oh yeah.
to a nice house with the family.
I mean, if you go into like, I knew a guy who was a mechanic, and then knew people who furthered that education into like diesel mechanics who now work on like mining equipment in Alaska.
Yeah.
And are paid, you know, 6 figures to do so.
Sure, they don't wear a suit and a tux,
Oh.
but you know, that's their job and they enjoy it.
Yeah, I know a guy who was making 6 figures, and he would literally just be like, "Oh, I found like this old soda machine on Craigslist. I'm gonna fix it up, and it's gonna look brand new. I'm gonna sell it for like $10K or something like that." And I was like, "Okay, that's what I make in months." So
Yeah.
like people do that for a living.
6
Yeah.
months later.
Fixing old cars and reselling them. Like people do that all the time, and
Those
don't
illustration
even go to
shows.
job.
Yeah.
But
But now I'm doing the culinary, so I don't really regret it not doing it now
Mm.
because I have my own path that I've laid out.
that's good.
You probably
So
spent a lot less money because I actually enrolled in that culinary
No, yeah.
program at that very same school you were talking about, and they wanted me to pay $575 for all the material for every culinary class that they had there, and there was no way to
God.
like a la carte pick and choose what material you wanted.
Yeah, you had
You
to buy
had to
their
do
stuff.
all of it.
Mm-hmm.
you can
So-
bring your own stuff from
So like
home.
even if you I mean I get like wanting to buy your own knife set, but like they had the culinary program, they had baking, and they had one other one. But you couldn't buy just like the culinary stuff. You had to buy the culinary with the baking and that other program, all 3 together. There was no just like one, or like if you just enrolled in the baking, you couldn't buy just the baking stuff.
That is so dumb.
So you'd have to buy all of it, which kind of then in turn was like, well, if I've got the stuff, I might as well take all, you know.
That's them taking advantage
The
of the fact that
self-fulfilling
you're
prophecy.
already spending thousands of dollars. You might
Exactly.
as well drop another
Yeah.
500.
And that's why I just like after the second week, I just like dropped. I was like, you know, forget that. I'm not spending this money.
But
Mm.
I mean, it being what it was, like obviously, if it's associates in science, I mean, it's plain obvious for the audience to understand that it was a community college. So I don't have any debt because I paid out of pocket, which
Mhm.
is very smart
Oh,
to
yeah.
do if you can do that. But it took me a lot longer, and that was the existential crisis thing where it took me 5 years
Yeah,
to do. But you know, no debt.
yeah,
And
That's
that's
great.
huge.
yeah,
It's huge for our age group.
yeah. And in 10 years, you'll be like in your early 30s. So like, where do you see yourself then?
Definitely. I went to this one restaurant, and the whole thing was that you reserved it at least 2 weeks in advance for your spot, and they only did 2 meal periods at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and you didn't know what you were gonna get as long as you had to specify if you had allergies and stuff, and they served a max of 20 people during that time. And there was like $50 for like a 5-course meal, but you didn't know what you were getting. And I thought that was a really interesting idea, and that's probably like where I'm heading to, if not expanding the small restaurant into just catering, like large catering.
It's like a farm
businesses.
to table kind of place.
Yeah,
'Cause there's a place
very
like,
like
yeah, there's a place like that not too
home
far away from
brewed
here. but-
recipes and like focus on flavor and
Yeah.
like quality.
Yeah, there's a place not too far away from where we lived. It's a farm to table place as well, and they charge. I think it's very like they don't do it normally. It's like a regular restaurant, but they will have those like farm to table nights where they do the meal period with it's like 7 courses, but it's like $240.
Yeah, because I'm not looking for that kind of like big restaurant, cutting corners, cutting numbers. It's like
Yeah, I completely.
if nobody
understand.
reserved the place, it's fine. I don't need to work today. Then I can spend time with my fam, because that's what I hope to be in my early 30s, with the
A
family.
guy.
With the family.
Oof.
That's yeah. All right, who wants to take over the reins?
Shoy, would
My
you like
turn?
to? Or I mean,
Yeah.
I can go if you're still thinking.
I'll go ahead.
I mean, it's not
like I
a big
said,
question. Like, what?
It's
It
not,
could be as
but,
simple,
like,
but like I just I wrote it so I had a better answer.
Right. Yeah, you had an idea in mind when you wrote it down.
Mhm.
So, I guess the goal that I'm working for now is, as I alluded to in an earlier episode, I had stopped going to the gym when I had basically made that my entire existence for a few years there. I'm gonna say after I get back from my little vacation here in mid-September, I'm gonna try and start getting back into the gym and getting back up to the weight that I was before. I've significantly lost a lot of weight since I'm not fat by any means. I never
You're
have.
very much lanky.
I am a very thin boy, and
You
I
want to
mean
be a thick boy.
a thin with two N's, boy.
You want
And
to be
I would
thick with
indeed,
two C's.
I was at one point a thick
Turn
boy,
those
not
in.
two
A
C's
swole
thick,
boy.
but I was thick with the CK.
Chiseled.
So I'd like to get back to that point, and then also I've just been amassing like books, so many books, and I've just been like, I'm gonna read these one day, and then I just grab my Nintendo Switch. I'm like, I'm not gonna read these books. Fuck this. I'm gonna play
Oh
video
my
games
God.
instead. But like
Relatable.
I went back and started reading it a little bit again today, and I was like, I really need to do this, but like, God, this sucks. And I've just got this pile of books every day I walk in, and there it is staring at me like, hey, the Fountainhead.
Are these fiction or nonfiction?
It's a combination. Like a lot of what I like to read is kind of business, self-starter, motivational type stuff. So like Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power is probably one of my favorite books, and I like to pick that up and go through it again. And there's some fiction in there. Like I have a couple Ayn Rand books that I'd like to go through, but it's mostly like nonfiction stuff, like kind of self-help-ish.
So I know you're into psychology, so I assume they're around
stuff like that, and but I have a ton of philosophy books. I have some Friedrich Nietzsche books sitting
English
around.
class ruined reading for me.
Yeah, that I need to read, and like some other philosophy books I've got sitting there, and so that would be my short term, is to get back into the reading and the
So get personally like
lifting. I've always been kind of on a mission of self-improvement. It's just I'm not a good self-starter, so it's like, well, I could go to the gym and then come home and read a book.
Or you could eat a bunch of cookies and play your Nintendo
Or
Switch.
I could sit and drink a Coke and play my Nintendo. Which is not, I mean, again, it's not like I have struggle with my weight or anything. It's just, in fact,
Eventually
last
the
time
metabolism is gonna catch
when
up
last
with
time
you.
I was at my doctor, he was like, bro, you gotta start eating some more, bro. Like, you can't, you're getting thin there, boy. Like, you need to do something about that. I was
It's
like,
better
"Oh,
than most
fine."
people, he tells them.
You're a
Exactly.
sheet of paper in the wind right now.
But
Watch out for those gusts of
Yeah, but in 10 years, oof, I don't know. I've taken a very much anti-forward-thinking attitude because it seems just counterproductive. It's nice to fantasize about like what the future could hold. Of course, I'm not without fault when it comes to this. There's many futures that I'd be like, oh, that would be a nice way for things to play out. But I know that more often than not, that those things do not come to fruition. So I've just kind of been taking things one day at a time, just like, okay, what opportunity will this day afford me, and how can I make the most of it in advancement of these future things that, yes, I would like to one day have and be able to partake in. So that's kind of a non-answer, but
You answered it. Self-improvement. Just need to have the
I
self-start.
just need the motivation is the hardest part of that.
I don't think
It
that
is.
answers the 10-year one, though.
Yeah, the
Oh,
10
the
year.
10
That's
years.
what I was saying. The 10-year one is difficult, as I said, because a lot of my past has kind of killed my ability to think forward and like, oh,
Yeah.
would I
We're still a couple years younger than you, so we're still the young optimistic.
Right. Yeah, I've lost all that optimism when I was 19.
Fair enough.
But 10-year. I mean, I have an idea. I'd be what? I shouldn't say my age, but I'll be in my
Mid-30s?
the later half
Mid to
of my
late.
mid-30s, getting into my late 30s, and oh
They're
God,
just
oh
narrowing
jeez.
down these
Oh
dots,
God,
people.
oh God, oh geez, oh man. I was like, hopefully I'll be dead by that point, but oh man, I can't even think of what I would like to have. It's such a foreign concept for me to think that far in the future. So maybe I can give you a better idea in a later installment, but
In 10 years.
Yeah.
Be like, this is where I'm at, guys.
In the day before
Kitchen
that.
Bitches 10th anniversary.
In that day before the 10th anniversary, I'd be like, okay, this is what I had in mind the whole time. Or it'd just be like,
Yeah, totally.
It's like written out on a piece of paper. I had it, you guys.
remembering Shuggy.
Face reveal. 10
Face
years.
reveal.
Remembering Shuggy and Kitchen Bitches 2019 to
2029.
2029.
It's a scary ass number.
I'll have the
It's strange that you didn't.
We'll be at the end of the 20s by then.
That'll be the somber music playing and yeah. So that was all I really had. I don't know I have much of a 10-year plan. I don't. Life can change so drastically in 10 years.
This is his suicide, like.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm not condoning suicide. I'm not.
Not in
no
this
plans of
episode.
killing myself yet.
I hate all women.
I never said that.
Yes, you have.
I condemn. I denounce.
Alright. I'll pick it up from there.
Pick it up.
Alright.
Pick up these broken
I'm gonna
dreams.
start right away. I don't have a
Yep.
10-year plan. That also is kind of a foreign concept to me. But
Maybe not a plan, but like.
no, I'll get into that.
Because I didn't have a plan. I was just like, no.
Even the
Yeah.
ideal, like oh, I have. The
I wasn't
idea,
saying you did. I was just
but-
kind of saying I don't have like a plan, but like
This is
Here's-
exactly what's gonna happen within the next.
yeah. But I'll
3,
kind of
6,
say where
12
I'm at in life now. I'm in my early 20s. I'm doing what I would consider better than most people my age if I were to
Most
compare
definitely.
compare myself to like just
Africa.
my friends or
Uh,
why are you just shitting on Africa today,
It's
man?
Africa fucking
Because I just
sucks.
saw this meme, and it's just been stuck
Anyway.
with me.
So I recently hit my 3rd year anniversary with my lovely girlfriend who is in the house somewhere right now. So I think some of my next big goals are kind of like set the foundation for setting up a marriage. So that would include like an engagement ring, us getting another car, maybe hopefully in a year or two, because I want to start early on the house just so I can start chipping away at that interest as soon as possible. So wouldn't mind trying to go in on a house sooner rather than later. As far as my profession, like money wise, like I do want to start saving for all those other things. I'm like not, I think I've said this to you guys before, but like when I was like 15, I was gonna try to do 10 years, but 10 years ago I was 12, so I definitely wasn't thinking around the time. But when I was like 15, 16,
Boom.
if I wasn't, I'm 22 years old. I don't give a fuck.
Whoa,
I have a
whoa.
channel.
He's already shown his face.
Thank you.
Oh god.
You're
Oh,
the
no.
you guys are just the weird ones. I'm
Oh,
just
no.
pandering to
Let
you
me
when I.
exist in the I'm the deep thrill. Lol.
I'm just pandering to you guys and
They're
you're.
they're gonna type soul into YouTube and find his video. Then they're gonna see his face, and then they're gonna connect the dots.
This
Anyway,
is my last episode, by the way.
anyway,
Signing off. 10 years.
the fact that you guys are like, you have like Facebook accounts that like could easily dox you, and it would be much easier to pair your voice with that than.
Nobody
Anyway.
knows I exist.
Anyway,
I'm off the grid.
I'm pretty sure you're not.
You're
Pretty
not.
sure
I'm
on my
not.
recommended friends list I see your face,
Same.
and I don't even know how it knows that.
That's weird. Yeah.
That is
'Cause
weird.
I don't have it as my profile like.
I don't think we have like any other. I don't think we have any mutual friends either. So it got that information
Maybe.
somehow.
Might have like one.
It must have like probably took your name out of my phone and
yeah.
then threw it into Facebook algorithm somehow.
Yeah.
No, Facebook is a fucking scary ass site, man.
So we gotta get off that shit. Don't get zucked, man.
Don't get sucked. But as far as like those are my personal goals, what I'm reaching for right now. As far as my career goes, I'm happy staying where I'm at. I'm also happy, like I guess like a big goal would be to open a restaurant one day. Before I had this job, that was kind of like my idea. Your competition.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could
Or
be.
my partner.
Why don't you
Or a partner, yeah, I
All
don't give a
niggas
shit.
going
He
together,
doesn't have
man.
the capital.
You hear that? He's flexing on your money status. Doesn't have
He
the
spends
capital.
it on weed.
Whoa. Shots fired.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Oh, because I'm sure you're actually really good about your money, but I'm sure I'm better than most people.
He is.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
My not actual friend. You guys, I'd say, are friends, but like.
Oh,
friends
he was
before
about to
y'all.
say, he was about to say
Actual
my
friends.
actual friends. What a
They're
piece
still
of
with their
shit.
parents, and they're actually
Acquaintances.
older than me,
Yeah.
and older than both of us. So.
But
Not older than you though, Swoogie.
ooh,
Sorry, you boomer.
He
Back in
back
my
to
day.
back with the insults. He's like, you're not my friend, and you're a boomer.
It's okay. I'll own the boomer. Because I totally am.
I mean, it's better than being a zoomer.
In
At this
attitude,
point.
at least.
Now Doom 3. Now that was a good game.
It was though. Daggerfall.
Anyway, so those are my personal goals. Long stretch wise, wouldn't mind opening a restaurant. Wouldn't mind just seeing where the opportunity hits me. Wouldn't mind, my mom does like Airbnb type shit, so if I was able to buy a second house and start working on that, wouldn't mind doing that. If fucking YouTube ever kicks off, I would love to do that. I don't count on that or like see it. I don't
see.
I don't put any chips in it.
2-hour-long podcasts about Star Wars.
Well, my other channel just hit 300 subscribers. That's
Send them our way.
You apparently don't want me to do that.
I say don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Let's just exist in ambiguity.
We can have a conversation about that right
Hi,
after this
Ducci.
video.
Our only listener.
Anyway, so I would love for that to kick off. When I was younger, like I was really into
6
writing.
weeks. Hey, Ducci.
I wrote like 4 books. I would be really into trying to get into writing again. But those are literally the 2 professions I would love to do, are the most likely in the entertainment industry to like kick off.
Yeah.
Other than that, I guess like music.
I hear you.
But so I don't count on any of that happening. It's a plan B, and I hate the argument. People are like, "Oh, your plan B is won't happen unless it's a plan A." I'm like, "Fuck that shit. I can produce better shit in a home with my equipment that I didn't fucking that actually cost money to buy."
That you stole.
Yeah, all this equipment that I have in my room and the computer I built, I had to work a lot to get that money. So
I feel like plan Bs are supposed to be like plans that like you know are gonna work.
yeah, and
Like I'll always be able to fall back on my cooking job.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. We have a
Plan
cooking
A's
job.
would be to go into entertainment, something I'm not sure if I'm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
As far as
That's-
cooking goes, we had like that's a safe ass job. You can
Oh,
get a
yeah.
job anywhere with that.
As long as it's summer.
No longer as it's summer.
Nice.
But like assuming like you were able to like there are restaurants in this town which are open year round that do good.
Chains.
Yeah, chains, well, and just expensive places.
Yeah.
Which I think we have credentials to work at those kind of places.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's just the more fact of like benefits, overtime, the stuff that we
Exactly.
would like to get PDO that are not
You're not gonna
available.
get benefits in a kitchen unless you've been there for
Exactly.
a very long time.
But there's other places. There's there's cruise ships. There's catering
Hotels.
businesses, hotels.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
other.
I mean,
places.
experience it for one summer to
Yeah.
work on a cruise ship.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a restaurant. So I think we have like the best fail safe to fall back on.
Mhm.
And
Until they
we're
finally find out how to make robots chefs.
And
Oh,
Flippy,
yeah.
the Flippy Burger
We're gonna be-
robot can.
well, I'm not gonna say we're gonna be the first people to get kicked out by robots, but we're definitely like in the lower tier.
We just went to a McDonald's and they had kiosks, so I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
and Taco
servers
Bell's
will get
got
kicked out
kiosks.
before.
Don't forget about the very impolite woman who walked up with our cups and like stared us down awkwardly.
She didn't say a single word and just handed both of us cups and just like.
She looked at us like we were
I'm sorry, what?
animals.
Motherfucker,
Because
white
we were just
people.
talking and like we weren't really paying attention to her. I thought she was just kind of like walking by us, but like she didn't say anything to like, here you go, here's your cups.
It wasn't like, hey, and we're like, oh, and we looked her in the eye and she like turned around before we could even say. So yeah, those people first to lose their jobs
Most
to the
definitely.
robots.
I think I can add a little. Now I've thought about it a little bit more. 10 years, like ideally for me, like kind of like Soul. I'd like to do some kind of entertainment thing, like whether that be like YouTube or probably writing, for me, or something like that. But in like a perfect world, I'd probably like to open up my own little gym eventually.
That's
My
not a
own-
bad idea.
Buy my
Not
little
bad
warehouse and do like a traditional bare bones kind of place to work out, like the place that I kind of look for around here that doesn't really exist. I know those places are more underground and cater to
Or really expensive.
or really expensive.
The one gym that I went to that wasn't like a Planet Fitness was like some dude owned it and him and his friends used it, and then like he would try to get other people in, but he like
That's basically what ends up happening in places like this.
Exactly.
It's like a little group of guys like, yo, let's open up our own place where no one will kick us out for being roid heads. Like I'm not against like using steroids. Like if you want to use roids, like it's whatever, man. That's your choice. I don't care, but
I can't smoke weed, but he can
What
use
is-
steroids.
I never said I was using. Listen,
I
all right,
know,
all right.
I
If I could,
I
I
was
probably would.
extrapolating.
What is
If
it?
I could, I probably would. But
What is
yeah.
UFC? What is that called? Like when it's UFC, but like what is the fighting style? What is that?
Mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my friend went to a gym that was like that for that reason, but like they also had just a regular gym part of it. It was $90 a month to go to that.
No,
Yeah.
I believe it.
I'm not.
That's not even a gym. That's a training facility.
Yeah, like you go there because you want to be trained.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean,
And he was
there's-
going just to lose weight and like just look better, not to
Yeah.
just
I
train.
mean, there are
to be-
definitely those very specific kind. I mean, there's like you can go to the upper echelons where you're paying $500 a month because there's a place down in Florida that's like the Fitness Institute.
I'm not gonna.
It's like
pay.
completely scientifically proved. Like that's where like top athletes go to train.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pay 10 to 20 times what Planet Fitness is
It
just
just
so I
depends what
don't
you want to
have a
fitness
Smith machine
experience.
and rather have just a regular.
I mean, I'm really
bench
into
press.
like doing all the fitness, like the supplements and the macro. Like I got really
Oh, I
into
love
that.
macro
I got
stuff,
really
not
into it,
supplements,
and like
but-
one of my things was like I want to be. I know I'll never get to like the level of like a Mr. Olympia. Like I could probably compete and maybe win in like these Arnold Classics and stuff like that. But like getting to that high tier, probably not. But like being a trainer for those guys, like I would probably be completely okay with doing that.
Mhm.
But again, it's like the elite of the elite, and like I would be fine with just owning like my own little gym and being kind of like
I
stay-at-home
remember-
dad with my own little business kind of work running itself.
I remember a coworker. He's no longer with us, but he quit. Not.
I was about to say he's not dead.
He's dead.
quit. But
He overdosed.
since
on
you're in a
drugs.
kitchen and it's hot and you're running around, he lost within the first month. He lost 27 pounds working there.
Mhm.
With
No, I know who you're talking about.
he didn't even go to a gym, and like he was like, yeah, I can feel a much greater difference of like whenever I guess you get healthier,
Mhm.
and I just like
And just physically standing up for 8-9 hours in.
so
I lost
really,
like 10, 15 pounds. Like
Yeah.
I remember like I wasn't like chubby, but I remember like the last place I worked at, like it was free food. It was like it was winter season because it was free food and it was winter season, so like there was more, less stuff to do.
Oh, he's sitting around smoking weed and eating free food, you bastard.
He gained the freshman 15 in 3 months.
I worked my ass off during the winter season. Yeah, it's slow as shit. And worked at a place where you have to physically lift. There's a reason. There's a rule. It's like you gotta lift like 50 pounds or something.
Yeah,
like that.
most workplaces that
Yeah, it's
if
about
you're on your
50.
feet, you have to like be able to lift 50 pounds like
Yeah.
comfortably.
So constantly moving,
And
constantly.
people don't know what 50 pounds are apparently,
Mhm.
because like
Oh yeah.
there will be people who are like, "Oh, can you get this for me? It's just too heavy." I'm like, "This is a 10-pound box. What are you saying? This is you have to lift 4 times this weight.
Mhm.
You're supposed to be able to do that, and you're just no."
Let's
Get
give
out
us
of
all
here.
the hand carts and the regular carts.
Exactly,
The
and I'm
hand
just like,
trucks
"Oh,
and
you need
U-boats
you
and
need
all that
something
stuff.
from
Then they'll take an elevator up one flight of stairs.
you need something from down the street. Let me just carry 3 boxes worth of stuff."
Yeah, I mean that's what I did.
That's what
one
we
day.
do.
As Chef walked past me, he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I used to pull 350-pound deadlifts. It's fine." And then I threw it all down, and I was like, "Hooey!"
Used
I
to.
gotta sit down for a minute.
It's been a while.
But yeah, our job is a workout. Like
It is.
Definitely is.
if anything, like
So
you're
going to the gym.
if you're
plus
trying to
that.
get thick, it's not like the best place to go. 'Cause
Definitely
you're
not.
burning a lot of
You're
fat.
burning everything because when you're trying to get thick, you're going for that surplus of calories, which causes the thickness, as you will.
Mhm.
And yeah, when you're on your feet, and we're not allowed to eat in that kitchen. Like, it's not like you can stop for like a minute and like get a bite. Like, there is no
You're
stop.
not allowed to eat.
You're not
in
even allowed to
kitchens,
eat,
technically.
quote unquote. Yeah, you're not allowed to eat in any kitchen technically, but
Like food safety. Like
that doesn't.
yeah, taste test your food though. That doesn't like.
Not where we work.
No.
But
Well, the upper management is definitely allowed to taste test their food because they're
they also have their own little offices where they can sit and.
yeah, but there's
hum
also
nom nom all day.
like when we do like catering and like stuff when they were like doing that big whatever that convention charity thing was, they were obviously taste testing it beforehand.
Yeah.
So obviously we're not because we're making the same shit every day. We know it's all the same.
We know it tastes.
It's all going to the
If we're
same
going to like
place.
unnamed certain chain buffet like I did today, you just like walk around it and you look at it and you're just like, what the fuck?
Oh,
All
the
this
big
looks like,
GC.
yeah, you're just like, oh my god, all this.
That's a very like
shit.
widespread buffet. How are you gonna like act like that's not?
Listen, I'm not trying to bring any ill will on us by naming these things.
How dare you talk about my
Not the golden corral.
my bread?
You really talk shit. This is like the fourth time I heard you talk shit about them.
Something.
He's on a rampage today. He's
I'm throwing bows.
You really don't like that buffet place.
I do not. It's
That's
I used to be into it, but like ever since working at the hospital, man, it just
I struggle eating my maintenance calories.
I look at the food and I'm just like, yeah, even eating the maintenance calories. Like, I'm not a big breakfast eater, so I wake up and like my first instinct isn't like, oh, I better get something to eat. It's like, let me get my black coffee.
No.
And then like I don't. So I'll wake up at 10. I have to be at work in an hour, and then like I don't eat lunch. That's like my first meal of the day. Is at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's terrible.
And then my next meal
You're
isn't
literally doing
until,
like 4
9
hours
o'clock
of like
No,
heavy work
on an empty stomach.
on an empty stomach.
No, I
Nothing
do
but
that.
black coffee.
I do the same
That's
thing.
how people lose weight. Like that's the total opposite.
And look, I'm looking great, aren't I?
Exactly.
Extra thin.
I eat an apple on my drive to work, and that's
No, I'll get
still
it.
not good.
I mean,
That's not even. That's like 8 calories.
But apples
It's
are
food, I
better at
guess.
waking you up than
yeah.
coffee is.
I think I have the most time to like wake up and eat breakfast, and I will sometimes I won't, but like I don't know. So it's something about I don't like having to like waste time doing that though.
Just close.
So usually I won't get breakfast. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just staring at food all day. But when I get home,
Yeah.
after cooking all day, I don't like cooking when I get home. And a lot of times I don't feel like eating because I was staring at food for so long. I will eat dinner, obviously, because that's like the first real meal of the day. But unfortunately, though, like my like drive to eat is not there.
Especially when you're
On my
cooking
days
food
off,
you
though,
don't
I'm
wanna
like-
eat.
On my days off, though, I'm like, what are we gonna eat today?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even when I was lifting, like, I never really, like, a lot of the guys that I would talk to when I very first started lifting were like, oh, if you just constantly are feeding yourself, your body will eventually just it will tell you that it needs that constant stream of calories, so you'll just be hungry all the time. Like,
Oh, that makes.
there's a guy named Brian Shaw, I believe that's his name, who's like a world record holding power lifter. And he's like, I'll start my first meal of the day, breakfast, with like a cup of like whatever cereal of choice I want, and then like 8 eggs, and then like in an hour and a half later, or an hour, half an hour, 45 minutes later, I'll be already hungry again. Like I that was just never there for me.
Yeah.
I always
It's
just
still
felt
not
like
there for me,
absolute
ever.
shit all the time when I was eating that constantly like that.
Alright.
Like I would eat to the point where I just couldn't. Like I physically just.
How do y'all feel about the
could
argument where they say it's expensive to eat healthy?
I disagree with that.
I also disagree. I think that's just a
Because-
cop-out.
It's a cop out.
You could. I think it also falls into like the vegetarian argument. Like people say, oh, it's expensive to be a vegan, but it's like you can eat rice, bananas.
I mean, you're not
bullshit.
going to eat well, but you can eat.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know I think a lot of people conflate that like organic for healthy thing too. Like if you don't necessarily have to eat organic to eat healthy. Like sure, it's not going to
Yeah.
be organic.
Deli meats aren't going to be like the healthiest food, but they're going to be a lot better than McDonald's.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
turkey and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, turkey slices, cheese, and
As far as
some mayo and a little bit of
the money
Baby
thing though,
bread, no,
it's
no
like
mayo.
it's like trying to argue like like the
You
amount
don't-
of money you spend eating out one time could be like $50, but like with that $50 you could have bought like 25 things of rice, 25 things of beans, like a shitload of fucking vegetables.
Yeah.
Bananas, it's like you get like what, like 12 for like 50 cents,
Yeah.
and that's breakfast for like almost 2 weeks for a lot of people.
There was at Harris Theater. It's not like whatever. At this unnamed
Thank
grocery
you.
store.
Yeah, keep going.
At a certain grocery store that starts with an H and a T. Sounds like Harry
There was-
Peter.
There's packs of 4 ears of corn on the cob. It was like the sweet corn, and it was like selling 4 of those packs for $5. So you're getting 16 ears of corn for $5. It's a pretty good deal, you know. And people think that they have to buy all 4 to get that deal. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy 1, and it will, like, as long as you have your Vic card or whatever you have at your respective grocery store, it'll fraction out to whatever amount you wanted.
Yeah. I was buying every day for like the past couple days at work. I would buy 2 bananas in the morning, like before when I got there. That it was like $1.35 for both
Dude,
those
bananas
bananas
are
at
like
the hospital.
39
I know,
cents.
and then I went to
for a
I
pound.
went to Walmart the other day and I bought a bushel of like 4, and it was only 72 cents. And I was like, what the like why? Why am I doing this to myself? I am not very good with my spending. I value my time over my.
I didn't even. Apparently, we have a refrigerator at work where we could keep our things. That's why I'm not like bringing in bananas and shit. Now I know about this fucking
No,
magical
trust
I
me.
fridge.
knew it for the longest time, but
Yeah, I knew.
Um,
Since like day one, it was there.
everyone kept putting their stuff in there and forgetting it, so it would smell terrible, and I just didn't use it until we got that new one.
Okay.
It broke down, and then we got a new one, so now I've started using it. Because,
I might start using it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
stuff
I
you
al-
start packing.
I only buy cheap shit anyway. I'll usually get like a bagel for like $1.50, and then a fucking cookie or fucking
Yeah.
melon.
I'm watching
thing.
this man eat lunch one day, and I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, how are you gonna survive on all these carbohydrates, bro?
Yeah.
You're gonna fizzle out, man. You're gonna fizzle
But
out.
even that, like, you buy a bagel for like $1.50 and then a cookie for like $1, you can seriously buy like a 10-pack for $1.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At Walmart.
Yeah.
So
That's probably that.
it's really about like convenience.
I think I
It
messaged
is.
the whole
Face
group
it.
chat one time. I was like, I need to fucking calm down on my spending, and I think those are just because of the days where I like splurge and I'll get like a wrap or something, and those add up. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you do that. I'll do that like once a week maybe, but you know that adds up.
Oh yeah, I remember there's like on my caffeine kicks when I'll go out there and be like, oh, I need my mid-afternoon Monster, and those are like $3.25 a piece, and then on top of like whatever I buy for lunch that day, ranging anywhere from like $4 to like $7 is like wasting $10, like, you know, in a 2-week period, almost $200 of my paycheck on just bullshit.
Mhm.
I remember when I worked, like when I would close and then do morning shifts, like I would need a fucking energy drink. And I was getting smart by buying them ahead of time. Like if I was at the gas station, I'll be like, okay, I'll save a little bit of money. But like I was getting real pissed off one time. Like when I was like I was like falling asleep on my break, and I was like, I guess I'll buy a fucking energy drink. This fucking place is making me buy their fucking shit by scheduling me terribly.
Yeah. Basically, our closing would be like you'd leave at 8 o'clock and then you get back there at 3:30 in the morning.
Or 3 or 2:45 in my case.
Yeah. It's
Because
it
if
was
I'm
not fun.
Because if I'm staying up, I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
might
you
as
just
well.
stay up.
At that point.
I might as well get ahead of my shift by coming in.
I would
early.
take a 25-minute nap because I think that was the time where like right before you would go into REM sleep, which was not good if you went.
Like the way I was doing it, it was like, cause I'm used to going to bed at like, at this point in time, like 2 a.m. And sometimes it would like shift. But like right now, I have to get to work at 11. I usually like run on 6 or 7 hours. That's enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like at that point in time, like if I'm used to going to bed at 2 and I gotta be there at 3, it's just not gonna work out. And I was like, like once your body, like once those first couple hours are over with and your body thinks, okay, it's a new day, I can keep going, then you're good. But
That walk
I'm more
back in.
tired if I sleep for 20, 30 minutes and wake back up, because then I'm just delirious.
Well,
Then powering
what I
through.
had to do, I would lay prone, like my back on the floor, and then my legs, I would prop them up like super high up on a couch, and you would sleep like that until you would turn to try to like get more comfy, and as soon as you started like turn like you would get your feet off to get more comfy, that's when you get up. You get up at that time.
That makes sense.
Then
That's,
you feel better. That's actually you're more awake. Is how I.
It's gotten better
Yeah,
now, but it's
I get
fucking
it.
stupid that our job is making
Yeah,
us
that's you
I
have
mean,
to
yeah, that's
like try to
ridiculous.
find hurdles to make it to work on time.
We don't do that anymore though, but it was.
We were doing that
it was a
multiple
struggle.
times a week for a little while there.
Yeah, it was a struggle. Hey, that third shift differential pay, not bad.
Yeah, that's
Oh, that was a big benefit.
Shwoogie does not know about that.
no, I mean,
He gets weekend pay.
yeah,
It's not as much.
I know the differential pay because a certain family member of mine used to work nothing but nights, and they would get like $200, $300 extra on their paycheck like every week because of that.
Yeah, no, that's about right. Makes sense.
Because we're only like third shift for like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's the only unfortunate thing
4
about it.
o'clock is when that starts, right?
Is it?
I think so.
I mean, I don't know
It's
the
like
actual
7.
hours. I just know it's a benefit. I do know when I work morning shifts, my paycheck is nicer though.
Mhm.
Part of that is like I am like no, I'm not there longer. That's not true. If anything, on nights I get out later.
I think it's like 7 p.m. to like 6 a.m. is like when third shift is
Oh, is
technically
it?
a thing.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Or it might be later.
Yeah, so we would only
Like
get for like a
9.
fraction for nights.
Yeah.
I mean, because that makes sense, because that's when everything is closed. So that's when like if you're doing night shift as a member of society at that time, you better be getting a fucking benefit for working when everyone else is asleep.
Can't you just set the TV to the not?
That's a lot of
or
work
sleep
though.
mode?
That's a lot of work though. I like pressing the button every so often.
Yeah.
Keeps me focused on my toes. Anyways, do you guys have any closing things you want to say for this podcast?
This boy got a new background.
I did.
On his phone. Look at that.
It's
Pikachu with all the
the
defining
fan base would
features.
not be happy about it.
Skinny Pikachu.
So is he
No.
supposed to have that dot on his penis there? Or?
No, that's the
Oh,
fingerprint
okay.
sensor.
It's just very.
He's missing the pucks. On
Oh,
his
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Good.
I thought it was just the
You
fact
would not
that he
get
was skinny.
triggered, but a lot of people I've shown that like Pokemon, like not like, but like
Fucking
hardcore
nerds.
fans are just like, no, that picture needs to die.
So those are his final thoughts. Shwoogie.
I have tomorrow off again. I'm
Noise.
I wasn't
I'm
sleepy
off
when
too.
I got here. Sleepy now.
Oh my god.
Must be nice.
I'm not gonna go to bed.
Yep.
Got some video games and play. Not
I know. I got
self
some editing to do.
Yeah, you do got some editing to do.
I got
Shit,
some
boy.
editing to do after that.
Oh, I got you covered, my dude.
Yeah. I have to go back to my parents' house and get on my computer there and do all this in 45 minutes and be like, all right, it's good.
You like the one I made, I didn't spend more than 45 minutes making.
All right then, perfect.
I mean, I guess listening.
But he
to it.
knows.
Yeah.
That's
do
true. He does.
Yeah, you like if you
50 minutes.
you'll probably have to watch a couple of tutorials on YouTube if you're not gonna
Yeah.
go in blind. But did Shaboy? I did you actually have final thoughts?
Not really. I mean, like,
Star
it's
Wars
just been
food.
Star Wars food.
10 years.
10 years from now, you would like to see a good Star Wars movie. Next.
Damn, shots fired. I can't wait for the new Clone Wars. I guess is it a series or a movie?
Yeah,
Whichever
I
it
think it's
is, I can't
I
wait
think it's
for
an
that.
addition to the series. But
I still got to.
No, it's like a new season type thing.
Yeah.
Because it's all for free on Cartoon Network. So I'm going to do that.
Woo-woo. My final thoughts. New trilogy still kicks ass. Fuck what these guys think. 10 years from now, I'm gonna still be making these shitty videos for you guys, and
I'll be dead.
You heard it here, folks.
Shwoogie will
Making
be
the
resting
hard-
in peace.
The hard read. No, I won't.
I'll be
I
going
won't
to his
be in
grave
peace.
every
I'll
day.
still be complaining when I'm dead. I'll be like, why did I do this? This sucks even worse.
I'll be coming to your grave every day. You'll just be screaming
There's
up
so
there.
much happiness in it.
Ah, these people are all happy around me. But yep. Thank you for watching. This is like a thing at this point. We're 4 episodes deep
For now.
for now.
4 whole inches of episodes.
Wait
Before-
until we get to the 5
Yeah.
episodes.
Damn.
Pretty soon we'll be hitting double digits here.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like that'd only be like if we kept at this pace, it would be like a month or 2, not even.
Yeah.
All right.
That's not that long.
All right.
I believe
So
in us.
10.
I believe in us.
The 10th episode.
Make sure you look that like button in the eyes before you smash it.
Always.
Always.
No consent this time, though.
You've always already. They've already consented 3 times. You need a 4th?
Well,
You don't need to consent for that subscribe button now. The like button you do. Subscribe just
It's
going raw.
problematic. Gentlemen, it's very problematic.
I don't think so. I want them to
You
go
need
in
to
raw on
sign
that
it.
subscribe button. I don't want them no lubrication, no
jeez.
consent. Just
Wow.
in.
Wow.
Subscribe.
That'll be the little clip we used for last time on Kitchen
The
Bitches.
subscribe is a
Don't do
whore. It takes all kinds.
Dude,
Anyway.
The
cut
like
him
button
in
is a
half
classy
and-
bitch. You need to look her in the eyes.
And with that, another episode out. Thank you for watching. And with that, we leave you.
Bye.
Bye.